A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia, all around the world. In fact, welcome to SimShed Broadcasting's coverage of Week 4 of Season 3 for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in Season 2020. Zach Cabot and Nico Pop with you for our live and exclusive coverage tonight. Intro to Wings and also the latest round of the GT3 series as we finally tick South America off the iRacing travel schedule this year. We've been asking for the Autodromo Jose Carlos pace in Sao Paulo right from the get-go in the iRacing schedule. And we've delivered in spades. We've got it twice, once on a Monday night and once on a Wednesday night in Season 3. Nick, good evening to you.
Good evening. Massive
night ahead of us here, mate. So, I mean, looking at the championship standings for GT3 firstly, we'll get back to the intro to Wings in just a moment. This is the race where if they can't stay with Dennis Gaderick tonight, they're going to lose him for good, I reckon. I think this is the night, this is make or break. If Gaderick can continue his winning streak tonight and win here, it's curtains as far as the championship's concerned. I know we're 6 weeks out from the end of the season after this round, but still, it's formidable, the numbers he's racking up at the moment. 3 from 3 and looking good for 4 from 4, you'd say, before they even hit the track for qualifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, this club has grown from strength to strength, and we're attracting some of Australia's fastest drivers. And Dennis Gaderick's towards the top of that list. And I don't know, his specialty, so to speak, is GT cars. And no one can really hold a candle to him at the moment. So I'm hoping to spice it up. Not anything bad towards Dennis, because he is one of the best, but hoping to spice it up that we can get the guys a bit closer to him.
Indeed. All right, we'll talk GT racing very shortly. Let's talk Intro to Wings firstly, because this is the 4th round of the championship. Michael Hammett on top of the standings here, 89 plays. Adam Coghlan, 69, and Warwick Sharp, 61. Julia Mucky on 48. So too Sean Rees. And then you go back to Ash Phillip on 47, Brad Clank on 43, so too Peter Madsen, 38 for Wayne Visser and 36 for Justin Schwercourt, the top 10 there. Brad Stroyescu just outside tonight. As they start qualifying, you join us in time for the qualifying session here. We've got a field of about 21-22 in the server, Nick, which bodes well for some good racing. And this is a circuit that it doesn't matter whether it's wings and slicks, or if it's the tin tops, or even if it's motorcycles, it delivers good racing.
Yeah, this front stretch that we're watching now, especially with these cars, I've wound a bit of wing onto it for the setup. It's going to be some good drafting battles down here into turn 1, and then conversely down into turn 4 there. So nice and safe through the infield, and then yeah, let's see how they go with their I guess chess-like moves, trying to predict where the person behind them is going to go.
Indeed. Let's have a look at some of the drivers in this field. Based on how practice played out, Justin Schwercourt on top from Jackson Rayhana and Michael Hammond. Very rare that you see Jackson Rayhana up ahead of his teammate there, but of course, we know how much he loves the Pro Mazda and he loves Intro to Wings as well.
Yeah, look, open wheeler, as he always says, open wheeler through and through, and here he is right now on screen, completing his lap. 2-lap qualifying, by the way. So we'll see, the totem pole should start filling up, and we'll see who lands where on their first lap.
3 minutes 12 into the session. We've got a 10-minute session here, as Nick said, just the 2 flying laps, and that's all you've got to make it count as far as the grid positions are concerned here. And we saw that last week, Nick, in the stock cars in particular. They had a 1-lap shootout, and many drivers continued on getting some laps under their belt after they clocked their time, and some are probably faster after they clocked their time. It's all about making it count when it matters, though.
Yeah, look, I think, yes, it was a bit of an oversight by me when I set up the server, but hey, look, that spiced it up a lot more than the grid, and it was a lot closer too.
And the race delivered, I think, as a result as well. So, yes. No, good stuff. 6 minutes to go in this session. Let's have a look at the conditions here. You saw it on your screen there as we introed the broadcast. 4.309 kilometre course, this one, 15 turns. And it's located, of course, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The setup is identical to baseline. The weather set to the 15th of November 2020, which, of course, is spring in Interlagos, being in the southern hemisphere. So we're just a little bit further up the road. 2:46 in the afternoon is the sim time as we broadcast here. You can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there. The winds to the north at 3 kilometres an hour, and the race will be 20 minutes. So based on what we're seeing in qualifying thus far, 1 minute 32s, 1 minute 33s. What's it going to be? It's going to be 2 laps every 3 minutes. So you're probably looking at something in the vicinity of 14 laps for the race here tonight, unless you get a safety car, in which case all numbers go out the window. Pace car speed will be 80 k's an hour, pit lane speed 72 k's an hour. The incidents, penalties after 17x and then every 10x after that. And that's about all the information we have to tell you there. Interesting to point out, Nick, this is such a fast-flowing circuit through Sector 1 and 3, and then Sector 2 is where it gets a little bit tight and a little bit twisty, but no shortage of good quality overtaking opportunities around here, and slipstreaming opportunities as well.
Yeah, slipstream, like you said, in the first sector, end of the lap, long straights, good passing opportunities. And I've wound, like I said, I've wound the wing on the setup. It's a fixed setup race, so they all have to use the same setup. I've wound the wing on so it's nice and safe through the infield, as long as you don't do anything silly, abrupt. They've just got to get right up against the back of somebody and then try and get a toe down the front stretch. Hopefully they don't re-attack you down the next stretch. Indeed.
Now, let's just dissect for a moment, digress for a moment, and just say a very good evening to those of you joining us on YouTube and also on Twitch. I'm just getting a message here from Jeff Connell. I'm thinking of jumping in GT3 tonight, not racing for points, so I might spice things up the broadcast and start dead last. Well, why not? Why not? I like that in the sense that there's plenty of overtaking opportunities and burning from the stern, even if it does mean in this instance you have to start from pit lane, Nick. Jeff Connell's a good racer, so watching him charge through the field will be worth it for the broadcast.
Yeah, it should be good. I forgot to mention at the start, happy Bathurst week to everybody, by the way.
Yes, that's that big week is upon us. Can you believe it? It's been 12 months already since the last one, so looking forward to hearing all the stories from all the bogans and yobbos about that one throughout the course of the week. And no shortage of sim racing to get you to whet the appetite and the lead up to all of that too, folks. Of course, we've got Wednesday night Road Atlanta, the venue for Hump Day Pilot Series, and also the Porsche GT3 thanks to Motorcraft. And we've also got on Friday night a trip to Phillip Island for the Prod Cars, Stock Cars and Supercars triple header, and we're looking forward to that immensely. That chicane they just bypassed on the way around turn 14-15 there, Nick. That's where the motorcycles used to rock and roll when the 500cc Grand Prix was held here before it moved to the Nelson PK circuit in Rio in the mid-1990s. There might also be some archival footage of the 1992 Brazilian... Oh, spinner! Brock Kelly was on a good lap too. Unlucky. The 911 at time round.
Another go-kart, another open-wheeler boy.
I was going to say, yeah, you might even be able to find archival footage of that 1992 Brazilian 500cc Grand Prix on YouTube once we're done here, so go and do yourself a favour. So, interesting to note, I'm going to reply to that message from Jeff Connell in a moment and just tell him to do it for the entertainment's sake. As I do that, Nick, let's have a look at the order thus far.
We got Jackson Ray Hunter on the pole by 3/10 from Mikey Hammond. Then on the next row, Brad Clank. What's he done? A 33.2 from Troy Cox. And then there's a lot of 33s now. Jared Daly from Warwick Sharp. Justin, I can't even say that name, Squeakhurt from Brett Selby Wood. Brad Stoyescu from Julian Mucky. Scott Rankin from Sean Rees. Brock Kelly, as we saw just spin just before, he did a 34.3 from Joe Baldwin. Dylan Gray from Pete Matson. Andrew Hayes from Todd Heffernan, and Ashley Phillip from Josh Millard. And then we got a couple guys that haven't qualified just yet. Wayne Visser, Chris Kisby, Luke Keamy, and Chris Stark. So I believe Chris Stark's on the track. So it looks like those other three either starting from pit lane or doing race control or something. So
yep,
there's Chris Stark right now has had a spin. So it looks like he'll be starting from pit lane.
Correct. And we are approaching the 10-minute mark, which means the end of the session. So the last flying laps are underway right now. The other reason Jeff Connell's probably thinking of having a steer tonight too, Nick, and I digress back to the GT3s for just a moment, is, of course, the Porsches do come here in not this week, but 2 after. So they go Road Atlanta, Road America, into Lagos. A lot to look forward to there. And this will be, okay, different car, different playing field, obviously, all that, but good laps around the circuit itself as preparation for that race in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, it should be good practice, getting car placement, brake zones, all that kind of thing. They're very similar. So it looks like Jackson Rayhan has taken out the pole. And
Peter Matson moved from 16th to 14th on that last lap there as well. So the qualifying results will come your way in just a moment here, folks. Jackson Rayhana, Michael Hammond the front row. Rayhana 3/10 clear of Hammond. Then Brad Clankin, Troy Cox on the second row. Jared Daly, Warwick Sharp the third row. And Justin Schwercourt and Brett Selby Wood the fourth row. Brad Stroyescu and Julia Mucky the fifth row. Scott Rankin and Sean Rees the sixth row there. Extraordinary to see that Michael Hammond is 3/10 away from Jackson Rayhana, but looking forward to seeing how it plays out once we do go racing. Server has 25. 5 have, of course, not lodged a qualifying time here, and that's indicated on the bottom of your screen there. Brock Kelly and Pete Matson, the 7th row. Trucker Joe Baldwin and Dylan Gray, the 8th row. Andrew Hayes, Todd Heaven in the 9th row. Ash Phillip and Josh Miller, the 10th. And then Chris Stark and Wayne Visser, Josh Thomas and Luke Keamy, and Chris Kisby make up the 25. All set, all boxed and ready for the jump. The start. Who will get the whole shot on the run to turn 1? Interesting livery choice there from Jackson Rayhana tonight. The standard blue and yellow of Michael Hammond stands out everywhere he goes. Looks a bit too Parramatta Eel-ish for my liking, actually, tonight. The old Pro Mazda of Michael Hammond. But as a Melbourne Storm supporter, I'm not too disappointed to see them out of the competition. But let's get set for a start here. Who's your money on, Nick? Because, look, start's critical, but Rayhana and Hammond, we've seen them turn on great shows in the past.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be one of those two at the start. You never know. It could be something happen, but I dare say it's going to be one of those two, Rayhana or Hammer time.
We are getting set for start here.
Final cars to grid up.
About 10 seconds away from the start. Round 4 of Intro to Wings. Pro Mazdas from the Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Red lights on. Set for a start. Away we go. Rayhana jumps out of the blocks nicely. Hammond looks to go with him. In fact, Hammond's right up alongside Rayhana on the run to 1, and Hammond's going to go through on the inside. Magnificent start from Michael Hammond.
Oh, 3 wide.
And we've got a couple of spinners at the back. We got Carnage at the back. We got 2 or 3, 4 cars, in fact, caught up at the back there. Rayhana lobbed by Hammond at the start here. Here's a replay of this incident at turn 1. Warwick Sharp potentially involved here as they make their way through. Yeah, that'll do it.
So someone's spinning there in the background. Warwick Sharp going 3 wide here. He gets bounced and he just goes straight ahead. But then, yep, you can see that car on the inside got on the grass. It's just ahead.
That was Brock Kelly as well.
Brock Kelly spun, but there's a car just in front that just got on the grass in front of the whole field. So all these guys are trying
Dylan Gray involved as well.
All these guys are trying to miss out, but there's a guy who got the turn 2 apex and just got way too much on the grass and then spun him around. These guys are going to have a big lead.
Indeed, they are.
Trucker Joe's got a
That was the key. Yeah, he's smashed up through the pack, hasn't he? Up into, I think it's 3rd, 4th place there at the moment. Now we're on board with Rayhana in the slipstream of Hammond. Now, is it just me, or has that set us up nicely for the race for the next 20 minutes? The fact that the guy that started pole has gone second into turn 1, obviously bogged it down at the start. Hammond getting the clear jump, and it's interesting because that could just be something as little as experience. As good as Rayhana is off the line, Hammer might just be that little bit better.
Yeah, and also after all that, the field hasn't stretched out that much. So everybody's got somebody to race, I should say. As they're trying to go
Everyone's
through.
got a dance partner.
That's it. So, oh man, I want to be going too wide through here. but if you got the run, you got the run. Brad's having a look. He's ducked back in. Now going to get a big toe down here and have another look down here at turn 4.
Have a look at this. They're under pressure. Troy Cox in the slipstream of Jackson Rayhana and Michael Hammond here now. If you hammer, how defensive do you play it from how early? And if you're Rayhana, how much do you desperately want the win after getting pole position as well? Troy Cox, can he come in and upset the apple cart? We are set for a very nice race around the Autodromo here in Interlagos. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Great to be in South America virtually for the first time. We've been waiting for this circuit to appear on the calendar all year. We've got it twice in the space of 3 weeks. Through they go. Michael Hammond skips clear. 3-4 car lengths over Jackson Rayhana. Troy Cox tucking in behind. They use all the AstroTurf and a little bit more. And Hammer skipping clear. Across the line, 2 laps in the book. 12 to go by my count, based on what we've seen thus far. Could be just a little bit less, but we could get to 13. Have a look at this. Cox up on the outside of Rayhana. And on the run to turn 1, can he get it done? The answer is no. Rayhana tucks in behind. Holds the line. Second spot for the moment. 3.5 minutes gone.
If I was Mikey, I'd just be eyes forward and go as fast as you can. Literally drop the hammer and go.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to break the toe for these guys because that's how they're sticking with him. I'd say Jackson's just playing a waiting game. And then obviously Troy Cox is holding onto their coattails as well. So he's got the easiest job. You just got to make sure you're close enough when you start onto the back stretch and the front stretch.
Through into the first of the hairpins here. And it's a long sequence of hairpins. 8, 9, then 11. 3 in the space of about 5 corners here. Such a great circuit. Really throws up great racing. Doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter the category, doesn't matter the time of day. This just throws up excellent racing, and it's so good to be able to bring it to you on a Monday night for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club on SimShed Broadcasting. We're here with thanks to Centrico Subaru, LJ Hooker Gaindar, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Ocular, and Simple Sim Computers as they make their way around on the main straight one more time. And this is the thing. You mentioned the slipstream effect, Nick, if he can... Well, this is my observation thus far. The slipstream, as you say, is keeping Rayhana and Hammer together and Cox with them as well. But Hammer has the strength, has the upper hand through the midfield section of the circuit. So if he can just edge away a little bit more in that section, he might break that slipstream effect.
100%. That's what he needs to do, is really concentrate on the middle part of the lap, all the twisties, to get a big enough gap. It's a bit like DRS and F1. You just got to get away from them enough.
Correct.
They can't come back at you or use you as a tow. Wow, look at this conga line.
Yeah,
So
it's a massive freight train here.
All the lap times are pretty tight too.
Brett Selbywood 5th, Julian Markey, Andrew Hayes, then Pete Matson, Jared Daly, Scott Rankin, Brad Stroyescu, all in there. All very close together, all tightly bunched at this point in time. Not dissimilar to Formula V or XL racing at the moment, the way they're bunched. We just need them to start going 2 and 3 wide in areas where they shouldn't be right now. Speaking of which. Really good racing message I got from Jeff Connell a minute ago. I'll try and get home in time. He was asking for $10 for every car he passes when he does start from the rear of the grid tonight. I said, I'm not contributing to the Jeff Connell Beer Fund, but I'm sure someone will. Go your hardest just for the entertainment factor. So we'll keep our eyes on that because we've got the GT3 race on the back end of this. And have a look at this. Rayhana's gone to the front. Rayhana is found away by Michael Hammond. So shots fired at the front. And Hammer looking to fight back on the inside, going into turn 1, and he'll get the job done and get the position back. So Hammond back into the lead. Rayhana sits second. Cox just sitting there waiting patiently. And we've got a car off on the side.
So here we go now. Rayhana's going to have a reply down the back stretch here. And Cox, what's he going to do? He's going to sit behind Hammond here.
Hey, Rayhana down the inside. Back to the lead.
Oh, he's going to go wide. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez, too wide through there, and Hammer goes back up the inside. Now, can he hold it around the outside going into the sweeper here? Yes, he can. He chops Rayhana off and says, I'll take the lead for now. Thank you very much. You've had your chance.
That sweeper is called Ferradura. It's one of the funnest corners you can drive.
It is, isn't it? It's total commitment.
Formula One cards, I think it's dab of the brakes, back a gear and flat. So much fun.
Pretty much. One of my very favourite parts of the world. This circuit, this venue, always throws up, as I say, good racing, always worth the early start on a Monday morning. Even earlier, of course, if you're here in Queensland, but that's another story we'll wait for Paul Nichols to join us for. As they make their way across the start-finish line one more time. You know what he's like, you can't help but start me. Now here's Hammond and Rayhana and Cox across the line, another lap in the books. Rayhana sitting in behind Hammer, pulls out on a draft now, goes forward on the inside of the run to turn one. Takes the lead back, does he?
Yep.
We're riding on board with Michael Hammond. Yes, he does. Rayhana back to the lead on the inside.
These guys have got 7 seconds on the conga line behind them.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Here we go. Mikey's going to have a right of reply down here. Jackson's already gone defensive.
They're just working together. These three working together and just leaving the rest in their wake. And Hammer looking to sweep around the outside. Nope. Rayhana up to the challenge. Defended on the inside. Didn't muck up the exit of the corner that time round. Back to this freight train of cars. So you've got Selby Wood and you've got Mucky and Baldwin and also a couple of others sitting there at the moment. Here's Millard and Phillip.
Yeah, that freight train there, they're only half a second to a second apart. And you can see them on the map there going up through the Ferradura corner there. They're all tight.
There they are now.
I was just about to say, if someone marks up, you're dropping 10 spots easy.
Well, correct. If you spin out, you're gone. Half a second between 4th and 5th. Half a second 5th to 6th. 0.4 of a second 6th to 7th. 1.1 seconds back to 8th. 1.3 back to 9th. 0.2 back to 10th. 0.4 back to 11th. And then 0.8 back to 12th. So, put simply, from Joe Trucker Baldwin, 7.8 seconds behind our leaders, to Simon Rees in 13th. So that's 4th to 13th. That's 10 cars. They're separated by 8 seconds. Now, here's Rayhana responding on the inside, or Hammond on the outside, rather. Hammond gets the job done, does he? No! Oh, look at that. So tight on the exit, and now Hammond does get the job done. Watch out for Troy Cox in all of this. Because Rayhana's run compromised through the S's, and he knows it as well because he's immediately got across to the inside to stop the attack of Cox, and now he goes after Hammond, and Rayhana's back to the lead on the inside. That's through turn 4. He's wide on the exit, but he's got enough to hold on, I think. Yes, he has. So Rayhana holds on through turn 5 on the run to 6, but Troy Cox, I tell you what, talk about a patient person. He's just sitting in there letting these two do their thing. He's got the best seat in the house at the moment, apart from us, as Brad Stoyeski finds the wall at turn 4.
That's what I'd be doing if I was Troy. I'd just sit there, let these guys drag me around. All right. Well.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Here's Stoyeski. This is going to be a case of going on your own. Bang.
Got the switch, and that was that. Just snap back on it real quick.
Now, Brett Selby Wood's also had an off-track excursion through the back of the circuit. In fact, it's just going pear-shaped for him because his 2 spins about 10-15 seconds. So I think Brett Selby Wood's going to drop out of this. Wayne Viz's already disconnected. So too Dylan Gray. So too Brock Kelly. And I dare say Brett Selby Wood will follow suit. So the retirements are coming thick and fast here. But have a look at this. Have a look at Rayhana up on the outside of Hammond. Hammond very much up for the challenge here. But Rayhana's able to sweep around the outside. And so often you can do that at turn 1 here at the Interlagos circuit because of the fact that the second corner is a right-hander. That puts you on the outside for 1, but on the inside for 2, and they're still going at it halfway down the back straight as we have a look at the battle, including involving Rankin and Daly right now. And look at Cox in the dirt as well.
That's it. You get them at turn 1, but then the counter-attack down there into turn 4. So these guys are still soft at the front.
Hammond back up the inside, and Rayhana unable to answer him going into what is turn 7 here.
This is great.
This is fantastic. This is one of the races of the season right here, right now. Between Hammond and Rayhana. They've turned it on before for us. But this is next level stuff. Pro Mazda on a Monday night. Doesn't get much better than this. We are 12 minutes into this race. We are circling lap 8. The way things are going, I think we get 5 more. I doubt we'll get 6.
Gaps are starting to appear in that chasing field there. People have dropped out or dropped back, such as your Brett Selby Woods and the like. So there's about 4 cars together now and another bunch of 4 cars. So here we are.
Yep. Well, Selby Woods disconnected from the server. It's important to note. There's Pete Matson on your screen.
Some bent wings and front wings, rear wings. Pete Matson with a car with every colour on the colour palette. Thank you, LJ.
Jerry Murphy. Have a look. Oh no! Look at the bend. Have a look at the damage. That'll be hurting his aerodynamics.
So I guess part of the reason why these guys are dropping back is they got no top speed now of all these bent wings and the like.
Yeah. Well, the difference between first and fourth is now 10 seconds, just to paint the picture for you. Ray Hana back into the lead here.
See these 3, no one else in shot. So they're doing really well coming up into the tight bit now. So what you'd be doing now if you're Troy or Mikey, you'd be trying to get as close as you can to Jackson, making some good corners as Mikey drifts wide there. You don't want to give Jackson too much of a gap because you won't be able to pull it back on the straights. So
and they're running out of time to do it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get really tight, especially down into this last left-hander that leads onto this long bendy straight. This one right here. So Jackson's got a bit of a gap here, so look out for Troy Cox.
He's got a bit of a march.
Might be just enough.
Well, this is the thing. Cox needs to have a go at Hammond if he's any chance of catching Ray Hana. Ray Hana needs to break the toe, and I think he's managed to do that. But we'll see how Michael Hammond fares down this main straight. No, he is still getting a little bit of a toe.
Yeah, you need to be about at 1.2 in front, and it should be okay. But I mean,
Ray Hana's not clear yet.
Hammond's just reeling him in through the first straight, and then he'll have a go down this straight now, I reckon.
And he's giving it absolutely everything. We're right on board with him now on the rundown out of turn 3 to 4. Now look at the slipstream, look at the toe. Look at the draft. Look at Michael Hammond charging for Jackson Ray Hana. He's not close enough. Needs to go with him through this back section of the circuit. Ray Hana wide. Whoa, gathered it up nicely. And Hammond is able to stay with him now.
So now, unfortunately, it requires a lot of aerodynamics, but you've got to stay as close as you can and drive some really neat lines here. Hopefully Mikey doesn't. There you go, he's a little bit tighter than Jackson now, so he should be onto him coming onto the main straight.
Yep, Jackson's going to have a handful when they get back to the main straight because he's going to be trying to hold off Michael Hammond and defend for his life. And you've already seen defensive tactics come into play here, Nick, because these drivers have decided, well, hang on, if I leave the door open, they're going to take it. So I've got to start defending on the inside. But as we've already seen, that doesn't work at turn 1 either, because if you take the outside, you can hold the inside into turn 2 and your job is done. So, I mean, it's a case of holding on for dear life and hoping that you're in the front by the time they get to turn 4.
Exactly. So here we go. Watch this gap shrink now.
Up the outside. Tell you what, he had he had enough room to sweep down the inside there if he wanted to, but he chose the outside and he missed out.
But Mikey likes to think ahead. He's going to get a better run down this straight, and he can hold him off on the infield.
And that's it. The run out of turn 1 sets it up for 2, 3, and 4. If you get a poor run through there, it's compromised for pretty much the rest of the lap because you don't get that momentum back until at least turn 4. And have a look at this. They're side by side again. And Hammond's up the outside. Ray Hana on the inside. Ray Hana's in the better spot because it's inside running. It's right-hand corners 6, 7, 8. Oh boy, I tell you what, Hammond's all over the back of him now. This is great. And don't rule out Troy Cox either. Cox is charging.
One slip up, Troy's going to get another spot. So I noticed on Mikey on the last lap, he's got a bit more understeer now that he's following. We'll see how the run comes out of here. And then you've got a 12-second gap to Joe Baldwin with another 2 seconds to Justin. And then there's a few guys all nose to tail there from about, where are we? From about 9th, 10th, 11th back. So
Two laps to go, everybody. 2 laps to go. They'll come back to the line next time by. It'll be the last lap. This is the penultimate lap, and Hammond up on the outside. Rayhana defensive on the inside. Now, Rayhana's got to pull it up and get it through here nicely, or Hammond's going to have a run at the end of the back straight.
So is Cox.
Have a look at Cox as well. Cox in the draft. Now, he can pick a draft partner here. He can go with Hammond, or he can go with Rayhana. He goes with Rayhana. He goes down the inside. Let's go 3-1. At the end of second, Cox is going to be a chance of coming out of this from the lead. No, it's Rayhana at the moment, but Cox has got by Hammond, but he ran too wide, and Hammond's up the inside. He's got up on the outside of Rayhana as well, and that's a brilliant run from Michael Hammond to go back to the lead here. Rayhana edging up on the inside. He's got his guys up on the inside for the next corner, but Hammond can't hold on. I tell you what, Rayhana's lucky there, not anymore. Hammond edges him out on the left-hander, and Hammond will lead them back towards the line for the last time. The last lap board will be out next time by the line. This is extraordinary stuff. There's been a little bit of a kerfuffle in back play with some of the minors. There's been an incident there. We'll show that to you shortly, but in the meantime, let's focus on this. Nick, who's running on fair income? It's hard to pick.
It's too hard to pick. Someone's pulled the grenade, pin on the grenade, because now Troy's gone, you know what, bugger it, let's go for it. And these guys are driving fair, but firm. And this is fantastic driving.
I love the fact that they were 3 wide down the back straight, that penultimate time. That's fantastic. 3 wide down the main straight as well. Why not? Last lap board. Last lap at Lagos. Rayhana locked it up. That cost him a run through turn 1. Hammond's going to hold on here. Look at Cox up on the outside of Rayhana now as they go through turn 3. They run down to turn 4. How good's this? Hammond defensive on the inside. Cox up on the outside with no help. Rayhana through the middle. And it's going to be Hammond for the moment, or is it? Rayhana around the outside. Rayhana to the lead. Cox couldn't go with him. Hammond's in there as well. Hammond's going to be on the outside when they get up to the right-hander. It's a series of right-handers. It worked for him last time. Rayhana in the middle. Holding the inside, defending it with his life. And Cox wants to squeeze down the inside of Hammond as well. Are you kidding me? He's up on the outside as they go through the left-hander. Cox might just get second off Mikey Hammond here as well. Are you kidding me? Cox charging at the death. That is fantastic. Hammond up on the inside. Oh, he's not going to quite be able to get by Cox. Rayhana's got this one, I think. But who's going to get second? Because it's anyone's guess at the moment. Oh, talk about great wings and slicks racing on a Monday night, folks. Get these 3 back for an encore next week. Round into the main straight. Jackson Rayhana's going to get the job done. He's going to meet Mikey Hammond fair and square into Lagos. Rayhana wins Intro to Wings on a Monday night. The 4th round of the championship goes to him. Cox or Hammond? Cox. Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant racing. Get up and cheer in your lounge room. You won't see better than that tonight.
Mikey got a bad run onto the main straight. That was the end of his race there. He was trying to really push the issue and try and get a good run because he was that close he could have slipstream past. But unfortunately, he had a bad run under the last of the tight left-handers, Junkao turn 13, and yeah, it just played into Troy's hands there, and Jackson coming across for the win. Here we got another yellow card. All these guys.
Wow.
I apologise to them because we didn't focus so much on them, but far out, what a race.
Well, we couldn't. We just didn't have enough eyeballs for one, and we didn't have side-by-side capabilities like the NBC. So, I mean, that was just brilliant. Jackson Rayhana getting the win. Michael Hammond clocked the fastest lap of the race. Incident points I'm not sure of. But that was just phenomenal. Really worth the price of admission on a Monday night for you. Rayhana from Cox, Hammer time in for 3rd. Then Joe Baldwin. Schwercourt was 5th. Then we go back to Scott Rankin, Andrew Hayes, Chris Stark, Josh Thomas, Jared Daly. That made up the top 10. There's the running order on your screen now. It really spread out in the end there, particularly after 5th position. Like, look at the margins. It really became processional down towards the back there, but there were a lot of spins from a lot of drivers in the closing stages. In the end, Brad Clank was a lap down, so too Sean Rees, Ash Phillip, and then all the retirements in behind that. But going back to 11th through 17th, Sharp, Mucky, Matson, Heffernan, then Stoyescu, Millard, Clank, and as I say, Rees, Phillip, and Selby Wood was the first of the retirements, and he rounded out the top 20. Go back to Kelly, Gray, Vizakimi, and Kisby. That made up the field. No Kimi, no Kisby on that start grid. However, they did not take the start. 13 laps. By gee, there was just about a highlight on every single lap. That was really good stuff. It's very hard to concentrate on anything else happening around you when the top three are still in the show, but that's the way it should be. Nick mentioned it at the start. We got some of the best in the business in this club, and two of the great exponents of iRacing really turned it on tonight. And don't worry, Troy Cox was one of the men of the matches, as far as I was concerned, Nick, because he just sat there and waited for his moment, and by gee, didn't make it count.
2 to go, he pulled the pin on the grenade and just went for it. So, good on him. That's how I personally do my races: just hang about, see where you end up towards the end, and then a bit like what Neil Compton's going to say on Sunday is buy a ticket to the back end of the race. Wow, this is something that we should show to all newcomers to iRacing. This is how you race, and do not trade paint.
Yes. Although I tell you what I really want to have a look at, this move here from Cox on the second last lap, how they didn't touch is beyond me.
Yeah, Mikey's got plenty of understeer there. If you watch it to this next corner here, Mikey drifts wide. It was just out of shot on the live feed, and there's a bunch of understeer and over the curb.
All right, let's get Joe Bourbon in for a chat here because he's been kind enough to jump down into the chat room for us. Joe, you got left behind there, mates. You were the best of the rest in the end. Brilliant racing, though, between you and Justin Schwercourt in the battle for fourth. Unfortunately, we didn't see much of that because the top three stole the show. Tell us about your night, mate, as you just missed out on a podium.
Hey, for a track that I'm happy to admit I suck at, I've never been good here in any car. To get a fourth out of that was insane. I don't know if you've got my start up there, but it was crazy. I went from 15th to 4th in 3 corners.
We're just having a look at it now, mate. There you come, charging up on the outside, and a brilliant start it was too. 15th to 4th in amongst all of this rubbish that was happening around you. And again, just luck of the draw, you were able to miss all of the garbage. There were 3 different incidents happening there, one going up and over that we didn't actually see on the live feed. And there you went all the way through to, as you say, position number 4 by the end of the first sector. From there, it was a case of not being able to go with the cars in front, but by gee, you had a good battle on your hands behind you.
Tell you what, Brett Selby Wood, he had a damaged front wing, and he was pushing me there for a long time, and I think it might have been a bit of a skirmish back there with the boys. I'm not sure what happened. I was too busy trying to not crash myself, but yeah, Justin, he had me. I was chatting to him after the race. He said he just got a little bit greedy with the throttle and spun the tyres on that last corner, or I would have been 5th. But yeah, missed last week, and I was a bit disappointed getting home from work late. But that's probably a good way to bounce back at what'll be my worst track for the year. Exactly right.
And we're just in the process now of switching over to the other server, of course, getting ready for our 25 past 8 start there for the GT3 race, folks. Joe, your thoughts on what's to come, mates? Because next week the series heads to Zandvoort, another new track as far as the season is concerned. What are your thoughts?
I actually like Zandvoort. I've done quite a bit of racing around there in the Skip Barbers, so if I can translate I usually do pretty well in the skippies, so if I can translate that pace into these, which usually they're sort of fairly similar car in some respects. Another top 5 I'd be pretty happy with, especially looking at the pace of those the guys that finish in the top 5 around me.
All good, mate. Thank you very much for stopping by for a chat. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Zach. Have a good night, guys.
No worries at all. Thank you, mate. And on the subject of results from the race that was, Chris Stark's in the broadcast booth now, and you were 8th in all of that madness, Chris.
Yeah, I got home from work. I didn't get enough time to quali, so they made me start from pits, which was a bit sad. I think I got most of it through carnage, a couple of good passes. I had a bit of a lose trying to run away from Julian and hit Sean Rees. I feel pretty bad because I put him over the fence and I didn't actually get any damage.
And that's the interesting thing too. We watched the top three with great interest, of course. They put on a fantastic show. Go back and watch the replay. You won't be disappointed. Rayhana, Cox, and Hammer. That was phenomenal. Behind, however, we were noticing a long gaggle of cars in a battle pack there that stretched on about 10 positions, at one point covered by about 5.5 seconds, something ridiculous. But in the end, as people started to acknowledge the wear and tear, they started to spin. They ended up with bent front wings, bent rear wings, whatever the case may be. Made it very hard for all of you to battle fairly and squarely. It was a case of the less damage, the better you fared.
Yeah, I think I got a few cars who just had a bit of damage and couldn't run quickly, and then I got a few cars just fares a bit faster than they were. But the rest I got when they all spun and got in their own incidents and sort of collected them as they were trying to recover.
Indeed, mate. Thoughts on Zandvoort next week?
Oh, I love Zandvoort. I actually like this track in the open wheelers. I've raced a fair bit here, so I felt comfortable just jumping in the car and racing it. Zandvoort, yeah, I love Zandvoort. Is the full track?
For you guys, I think you're just on the club circuit, and the GT3 series is on the full track, I think. Don't quote me on that, though.
Yeah, the club circuit makes it a bit harder because there's that really fast right-hand brake of the short track, so that makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, indeed. All right, mate. Well, thank you very much for stopping by for a chat. Good luck with the rest of the week. Plenty coming up, not only on track, but also race control. Go well.
Yeah, I'm just jumping into race control for Pro-Am. Paul's just sorting out my joint because there's no one in there for that, so I'll do that.
Beautiful, mate. Fantastic. We'll catch up with you soon. You too. And I hope you're enjoying our coverage of Monday Night Motorsport for SimShed Broadcasting. This is the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is all the action from Intro to Wings and the GT3 series from the Interlagos circuit, Sao Paulo, Brazil. We're getting ready to get back into the racing on the other side of a quick break here. We'll bring you back to Interlagos, and we'll pick up the closing stages of qualifying in the GT3 series. So stick with us. Hope you're enjoying all the action for the great people of LJ Hooker Gander, Central Coast Subaru, Oculair, Flash Graphics, of course, Simple Sim Computers, and Coldstone Racing, of course. We've got to thank them too, and all the great people that make up the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in 2020. So back with more for you in just a moment. Make sure you stick around. Right here, mate. I'm going to quickly mute myself because the old boy called. I'm going to ring him back and tell him to hold off till tomorrow. Cool. I'm good to go. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in this Monday night. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, SimShed Broadcasting, our coverage of Week 4, Season 3 in the 2020 iRacing calendar year. And all eyes back on this circuit, the Sao Paulo region, the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. Getting ready for what should be a great race here. And we'll have a chat to a couple of our drivers that are competing tonight in just a moment. Good range of cars tonight. We've got a couple of Ferraris, some BMWs. We've even got a McLaren in the field. We've got the usual suspects, Audi, Ford, and Mercedes in there as well. Huge thanks to all the people at the top of the screen there. Of course, without them, this isn't possible. Of course, SimShed Broadcasting, Simple Sim Computers, Oculair, Flash Graphics, Racecraft. Got to thank them. Forgot to mention them before the break. LJ Wagandar and also Central Coast Subaru. And can I just mention on the subject of Flash Graphics, they were on the live stream here on Facebook Live. Of course, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, send us a hello, give us a message, let us know what you're most looking forward to tonight. Let us know what you've already enjoyed thus far. Of course, it's going to be hard to go past that three-way fight at the front of the field and then Intro to Wings as anything entertainment-wise is concerned tonight. That will be the pick of the bunch, I would dare say. Flash Graphics sayings, flag to flag, that was insane. It was off the scale. It was absolutely off the scale. Dennis Gaderick, as I mentioned earlier, still the 4 men to beat in this championship. And we've got a couple of people standing by for a chat here. I'll see if they're able to come in and join us here. Let's grab an onboard shot if we can, JP. Talk around this magnificent circuit while I run through some race facts here. 41 minutes and 12 seconds into the session. And we're riding on board with Trent Lavis now. And as you can see, 4.309 kilometres, 15 turns. Great field in this round of the championship. Already 36-37 in the server. All right. Oh, Lavis, no. Just as I said, let's go on board for a lap of this circuit. Lavis goes and puts it in the wall. It's all right. Actually, this is a better run. Here we go, out of turn 3 on the run down to turn 4. The rear vision mirror set up as well. Ride the ripple strips. Use them to your advantage. Track limits are very... not so very much scrutinised as they are at, say, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. So you use those ripple strips, you use that AstroTurf, you use it to your advantage. Up, hard on the brakes, right. That's taking this into turn number 8. Turn 9 follows the run through. There'll be a kink to the right here at 10. You'll be on the brakes again for the run into 11, which is another right-hander. And then we begin a sequence, a series of left-handers that get us home. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, race conditions for you. 4.319, or 4.309, 4.31 kilometres is the circuit distance here. 45% fuel tank capacity for these cars. And the setup is, of course, identical to baseline. The weather, partly 24 degrees. The track, 29 degrees. Wind southerlies to the tune of 7-8 kilometres an hour. The sim time set up for today, the 12th of October, and we're set at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it'll be about 4:20 by the time we go racing. So we'll be heading towards sunset there by the time the race is done. And interesting to note that unlike the smart, intelligent parts of the East Coast, the entirety of Brazil doesn't observe daylight savings, so they lose out just as much as we do. 50-minute qualifying session. The race will be 45 minutes. And the pace car speed, 80 kilometres an hour. Pit lane speed, 72 kilometres an hour. The fast repair limit, just the one of those. The incident count penalties, 15x, and then every 5x after that. So far in qualifying, Dennis Gaderick from Liam Reston, Trent Lavis, Chris Whittaker, Paul Rogers, John Merritt, then Richard Hunter, Yanni Sortario, then Paul Mansell and Maverick Benson making up the top 10 here. You can And follow along the live timing, of course, folks. The links are available in our respective broadcast servers. You can follow along the action via Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And I hope you're enjoying all the action wherever you're tuning in. There's Trent Lavis back out on circuit now. Looking to improve on third fastest qualifying time. Dennis Gaderick, 1:32.14. Set himself up nicely there. So Lavis is only 0.28 off the pole. 0.33 separates first and fourth. 0.36 separates first and fifth. Incredibly tight margins here. Just 0.4 of a second separates the top six in this field tonight. Interesting to note, Richard Mitchum and Paul Mansell, 1:32.61 each. They've both set the same PB, but to the 1,000th of a second, it's Mitchum on top of Mansell. Hopefully catch up with our own Paul Nichols at the end of the race tonight, because Nico is busy getting ready for the Pro-Am race. Guy Leach is who we're with at the moment. Good to see a couple of Fords in this field and doing well. Leach and Mansell, they're 13th and 10th respectively. You can see it on the totem there, the top 20. We've got all 6 different manufacturers on the grid tonight, except the Mercedes not doing very well outside the top 20 there. In fact, if we have a look through, there's a Merc down in 34th, Warwick Sharp. So that gives you an indication as to how the Merc has fallen through balance of performance updates and other things out of people's preferences for race cars here. Good luck to everyone competing tonight. If you want a different angle of the race, Adam Lavis is streaming his onboard from his Twitch page, and that'll include the in-race chat with all the skid control boys. It's not always family friendly, so parental guidance is recommended for younger viewers if you do go over and tune in there. Throughout the course of the evening, Adam will join us post-race, of course, calculating all the points, the breakdown, the fallout of this round of the championship, round 4. Zandvoort, the next stop. Reminding you for the rest of the week, we're continent hopping this week. Road Atlanta Wednesday night, Phillip Island Friday night. Looking forward to it all immensely. And this is the first of 2 visits to South America this year, or this season rather, with the... I'm just doing some number crunching here. I believe it's October 28th. The October 28 edition of Wednesday Night Motorsport will be from the Interlagos circuit as well, for the GT4 TCR Showdown and also the Porsche GT3 for Racecraft. So around they come again. 2 minutes 20 seconds now left in this qualifying session, 2 minutes 20. So these are nice long qualifying sessions, gives everyone a chance to get out there and clock a number. And so far the number to beat is that of Dennis Gaderick by only 0.13 of a second. So it's going to be nice and tight at the top tonight between Gaderick and Liam Reston, Trent Lavis, Chris Whitaker. Really tight margins.
Almost
in fact,
as fast.
If you look all the way down. Hello, Nick. Oh, you're back. Good to have you back on.
Sorry, I had to attend to something.
Top 18 separated by a second, mate. This is going to be tight tonight.
As fast as the Pro Mazdas around here too. The lap times are very similar.
Very similar. So it's a good indication that we'll have about, I'd say, somewhere in the vicinity of 30 laps of racing tonight, maybe 29.
The deciding factor will be, and Dennis is quite good at this, go as fast as you can without any mistakes. The first one to make a mistake will be the one that loses out. So the top 10 here are just absolutely going gangbusters. Half a second covering them. It's going to be a tough race.
Indeed it is. And Be interesting to see if Jeff Connell was successful in getting home as well. Yes, he was. He's there in 37th. He's gone out. He's clocked a lap, 1:37.18. So he won't have to start from pit lane, but he will burn from the stern. So we're looking forward to seeing how Jeff goes with that. Oh boy! As I said at the start of the night, Nick, this is the critical moment as far as this championship is concerned, and I'll run through the points in just a tick. Dennis Gaderick, 3 from 3. If he wins 4 from 4, I can't see him being stopped. This is the time where, and as you see, the margins between first, second, third, fourth, all nice and tight tonight, really set up nicely for a good race. But if they don't go at Gaderick, they can't put a stop to this dominance. They're not going to anytime soon.
No, he is the man to beat. Sorry, just swallowed my food. He is the man to beat, and he is one of the best. So, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. So, unless somebody can beat him, I think he'll be the man.
Agreed. 104 points for Gaderick, 70 for Candola, 66 for Glenn Postlethwaite, Paul Mansell 65, John Merritt 64, then Trent Lavis 57, Guy Leach on 48, Luke Turner 47, and then Cal Crowther on 42.5 and Maverick Benson on 39 points make up the top 10. Interesting to note, well worth pointing out actually, Adam Lavis sending through this information last night for us. And I've scrolled straight past it in my message thread here, as I so usually do.
Top 18 covered by 0.98 of a second, and the top 20 covered by 1.02 of a second.
So I got this message. Sorry, Nick, I got this message from Adam Lavis the other day saying, he might have actually sent it to the broadcast feed, actually, my apologies, that there will be some drivers, yeah, here it is, some drivers
going
after
up.
3 rounds going up, going down,
Yep.
exactly. We took the opportunity to shuffle a few people around in the 3 splits as to put them in a more competitive situation. So, Josh Forer, Jamie Mishkenig, and also Jared Daly, they've dropped back to Pro-Am. They're moving up into Pro, Cal Crowther, Johannes Koch, Jaden Schmidt, and also Michael Martin.
Should be more appropriate speed and ability-wise for these guys to go up and drop down. A bit like when I was playing rugby back in the day. You know, after halfway through the season, your team will get assessed. If they weren't doing so well, you drop back a level.
Indeed. There's the circuit. We'll have the qualifying results up for you in just a moment. Zach and Nick with you for our broadcast tonight, and we'll check in with Paul Nichols after he's done in the Pro-Am split as well. We'll have the results from that split for you before the end of the night. Dennis Gaderick, Liam Reston and Trent Lavis, the first 3 on this grid. Chris Whitaker, Paul Rogers and John Merritt, the next 3. Then we go back to Richard Hunter and Yanni Sortario. Then Richard Mitchum and Paul Mansell led the first 5 rows on the grid. Look, to be honest, I love the fact that Gaderick isn't daylight away from everybody else in this qualifying order. I mean, half a second covers, as we said earlier, I think it's the top 8 or 9. So it bodes well, but there's something about Gaderick when the foot goes to the floor, when the lights go green in race trim, that's very hard to surpass, to overcome, and to stop. I mean, the bloke's been in a world of his own, a league of his own, throughout the course of this series. So there's the grid for you. Let's have a look at it now. Have a look at that. As we said, top 10 separated by 0.47 of a second. Gaderick and Rest in the front row. Lavis and Whitaker the second row. Then Rogers and Merritt the third row. Then we go back to Richard Hunter and Yanni Sortario. Richard Mitchum and Paul Mansell. 6th row is Maverick Benson and Glenn Cito Riddell. The next 6 rows, Guy Leach and Jackson Rayhana from row 7. That's interesting. Rayhana's always a better racer than qualifier because of the tight turnaround from intro to wings into this, so we'll see how he fares. Then we go back to Brendan Whitaker and Luke Turner, Cal Crowther and Johannes Koch, 2 of the Pro-Am graduates. Michael Angus and Lee Siddles. Then we go back to Michael Martin and Barry Anastakis. Then we go back to Peter Hunter and Jaden Schmidt on row number 12. And the field keeps going. Row 13, Aaron Cooper and Paul Wood. Adam Lavis and Stone Cold Matty Austin there from row number 14. James Wood and Dan Siciliano from row 15. I still haven't got that right. So, Dan, I apologise. Rick Sibber and Justin Schwerkott from row 16. Then row 17 is Daniel Birchnell and Warwick Sharp. And then Bevan Moyes and Andrew Goldman from row number 18.
It's a big field, and they got a half a roll around lap 2, so it's not too bad. It doesn't waste too much time. I hate the full ones.
True. I was going to say, too, Jeff Connell sitting there in 37th was the last car on the grid, too. The ocular aerial shot shows and tells a story for you. I agree, Nick. I like the half a lap roll around. The full lap just it gives you too much time to think about it. Really, too much time
Waste
to
fuel.
waste fuel, get tense, and from our standpoint, it's more fill time. This is far better. So 45 minutes when they get to the line, the clock will start.
I didn't get to ask this because obviously I was attending to things in the house. But qualifying, what's your take? A big long qualifying, or do you like the 1 lap shootout, 10 minutes, get it done?
Well,
or 2 lap shootout. Sorry.
It depends on the format. For the GTs, I think because we're used to these being cars that race in longer periods, I think the longer qualifying session is good, and certainly the drivers like that concept as well. Especially now when you're taking in so many different considerations. A, field size. B, the different times that everyone's getting home and therefore into the server. I think the longer session works. But for other categories that we cover, like the intro to wings, like the stock cars, that short, sharp, rip, tear, rush, bust qualifying session, I love it. So, again, depends on the structure. Everyone's going to have a fan of a particular... Everyone's going to be a fan of a particular format, and you're never going to please anybody. But for GTs, I do like that longer session.
Fair enough. I like the short
here
one.
we go.
You can track to yourself.
Well, that's true too, and that's an interesting thing. But I think having an extra session to deal with traffic management will help improve these guys as race car drivers. So let's wait and see how this goes. The clock will reset to 45 minutes when they hit the line. 45 minutes of racing ahead. Round 4 of the GT Series in Season 3. Let's do this at Interlagos in Brazil. Immediately up on the outside. Liam Rushton, a great start. Garrick sort of went nowhere, really. And Garrick's not going to lead them into the first corner. Actually, yes, he is. He's going to fight back. Weston will fight back on the inside through 2, and Garrick will get squeezed out as they make their way around for the first time, and the top 2 are still side by side. Look at Trent Lovis getting in there as well. Chris Whitaker as well. Oh, boy. Everybody did well to squeeze through there. I thought there was going to be trouble on the outside. Now there's trouble. Car in the wall. And the yellow flag is out. We have got our first caution. They didn't muck around with that.
It was a Red Bull car of some sort. Coming off turn 3. Oh no, it's my teammate. Oh, my teammate spun.
It is indeed. So but there's Paul Wood going around.
Further around the corner, a Red Bull car. Oh, he got reversed really quick. A Red Bull car got turned into a pancake. We have a look. Yeah, there it is in the foreground at the top of shot. And, oh, jeez, don't recover in front of people, please.
Oh, bang. Yeah.
He flattened his car against the barrier.
To be fair, I think they were a little bit generous throwing the caution. I think they could have let that go. Because everyone did such a great job of getting through that. But anyway, bunches the field up. Let's just go again. And Liam Reston with the jump. Liam Reston leads. What about that?
Yeah, it's a good jump. I guess I said this last week about the cautions, it cuts into their playtime, so it will screw.
Well, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, there'll be a week where they get it right, and they'll get a lot of playtime. So we got who we got in there? We got Michael Porter calling all the shots.
We got 30 seconds of playtime, didn't we?
Well, that's it. Now it's single file. It should be a little bit more straightforward. And there won't be as much 4 wide, 5 wide as we saw on the opening lap there. But Liam Reston to lead the first lap.
There you go. Not Dennis Gaderick for a change. And I mean that sincerely when it comes to this championship, because by G, Gaderick's had it all his own way from the outset of the opening round in Season 4. So, yeah.
You ordered a little bit of a spice up, and you got it. So far,
we certainly did. We certainly did. For the moment, let's wait and see. There's still 42 minutes to go here. Reston, Gaderick, then Lavis, Whitaker, Rogers, Merritt, Hunter, Sorteriu, Mansell and Mitchum, the top 10. Now, what was interesting there at the start, not only did Reston go with Gaderick and get by him, Lavis was all over the back, and then Whittaker was up the outside, but Whittaker lost the momentum through turn 1, and that was what saw him slotting behind Trent Lavis on the exit.
Just
He had no hope.
At the totem pole there, do you see a badge that's missing? Oh, wow, Nutrigrain for Guy Leach. That's a good one. Do you see a badge that's missing on the totem pole?
Well, there's no Merc in the top 20, and there's no McLaren in the top 20 either.
Exactly, yeah. So there's Ferrari from 2 Audis, 3 BMWs, 2 more Ferraris, a Ford. There, who we got 33rd.
There you go.
And no, there's a couple more. So there is a handful of Warwick Sharp here in a Merc, but yeah, not too many Mercs around now. Looks like the Ferrari is the weapon of choice.
No, and just the one in the McLaren, that was Michael Martin, but he's parked up in the lane at the moment. Safety car deployed on this opening lap. Jeff Cottle from 37th to 34th in 3 corners before the caution got thrown. So this will hurt him as well. He's trying to prove a point tonight and go through and rip, tear, rush, bust.
Yeah.
This will hold his charge up by about 7 minutes.
There's
And that's going to be the difference between probably 29 and 27 laps of racing as well.
100%. The lights are still on the safety car, so they'll do one more tour, I think. I wish we had a bit better control of the safety cars, but it's defaulting to 3 laps, and I think sometimes 4, depending on where you throw it. Just looking at the back of the field, Warwick Sharp's rejoined in 36th and last running car, and then in front of him he's got 2 Woods. Oh, there he is now. He's pulled up, he hasn't up, and looks like he is...
Wow, Warwick Sharp. Bye.
Still active on the live timing here, so he's still there. And then you got my teammate here, Paul Wood, and no relation to James M.D. Wood, who's right in front of him.
Yes. Good to point that out. Well, that's Liam Reston from Dennis Gaderick and Trent Lavis, then Chris Whittaker. Behind the safety car, that'll go around one more time. And from there, we'll have about 37.5 minutes of racing left in this one. And as we said, because there are similar times to what we saw in Pro Mazda, there will, however, probably be a pit stop for these guys. So that will be the only difference tonight. 13 laps in 20 minutes. So that means 26 in 40 and 27, 8, 9. So 29 probably would have been the magic number in this race. That now gets impacted upon because of this safety car.
Well, you see Jeff Connell and Paul Wood taking a pit stop right now. But also, if you notice, the skid control boys have been laying back, and I reckon they're puttering around in top gear and also turning off the engine. Whereas Liam Reston, I guess he hadn't tweaked to it. He was right against the safety car for the first part of that first 2 laps. Now you can see they're really crawling now.
Indeed, they are.
Duckula.
They're coming around at snail's pace. Hang on, is that skid control backwards on the side of the Trent Lavis car there?
And he's got Count Duckula on the front.
So he's gone for the mirror effect on the side panels.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, who won the 300? Did you mention that?
No, we haven't mentioned that. Tristan and Dalton Ellery by 1 lap getting up in the 300 on the weekend just gone. Yeah, they absolutely smashed the field. It probably didn't look like that from the reports that I got for about 80 laps, but once all the pit stop sequence had got through, they realised that, hang on, this 1 lap lead they've got isn't going to be overturned, and that was that. So, what out of my mate Jerry Murphy, he come home in 5th, and I'll tell you who was 3rd in the moment. It just escapes me at this point in time. But we're getting ready to go back to green here. The yellow lights still flashing at the top of your screen. Sorry?
What were the Ellerys driving? Because I know the skid control boys had a
one of those fancy Class XP.
Ah.
Yeah, that'll do it every day of the week. So, just I'm having a little bit of trouble uploading that soft at the moment, but I will come back to that for you very shortly. As I said, that event was a very welcome return to. I'll come back to it. I'll have something to say about it at the end of the night. We're getting ready for a restart here.
Yep, Liam's laying back now, so it's either going to be a restart or I think it's still flashing, so it might have 1 more lap. They're still flashing, so there might be another lap.
The safety car is going to go around 1 more time, so it's going to be a 4-lap safety car window here.
So Liam was backing up the field to get a
That's
good
somewhat
run.
unfortunate.
Well, it's as per usual. The boys become mischievous. They lose a bit of play time, so that's unfortunate for the guys who have done a really good job. But yeah, it's one of those things you just don't. Yeah, the lights are out now, so they're going to go green on this lap. But it's one of those things. Don't get involved in any skirmishes at the start of a 45-minute race. It's just three wide, ridiculous, and going on the grass. It's just too much risk.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time they come back around, we'll have lost 10 minutes of play time. Actually, 11 minutes of play time. A quarter of the race. So that's really unfortunate. Exactly. Now, just going back, so I can run through this now. Tristan Dalton Ellery, Carl Begg, David Russell, and yes, that's David Russell you're thinking of, the man that likes hanging out with skippies at the top of Mount Panorama. So that was 1 and 2, and Colby Callum and Lindsay Kearns in for third in the Ford Mustang GT. They won Class A2. And Jerry Murphy winning Class B2. Aaron Seaton spelled Seaton for some reason because, you know.
Oh, great work there.
Yeah. They won A1, he and John Harris. And Class D was won by Andrew Wilton in the 322 Toyota 86. And we go further down. Class I was won by our good friends Dylan Cothill and Hudson Sinclair. And Class E was won by, well, no one because they failed to finish. Actually, no, sorry, no, I apologise. I've overthought Class E. Their Class E was actually won by, I went straight past it on the totem pole. 15th outright was where Adam Talbot finished in his Mazda 6. So I think that's all covered. X, A2, B2, A1, D, C, E, and I. Yep, so... Why is there a safety car? We're being asked at the moment. There was an incident on lap 1 involving a couple of cars there, and it wasn't pretty. We saw a couple of cars slam into the wall. The pace car, maybe the button was triggered a little bit too early, but everybody's managed to be able to resume, and we'll get the race back underway this time by. Also, on the subject of oversights, at the same part that I oversaw Adam Talbot, it was actually second for Codhill and Sinclair in Class I. The Ross Coote Toyota Altezza winning Class I there as well. So I've gone through the classes, and Natsoff somewhat helped me in that. And as I said, that was the rejuvenation, the revival of the Willow Oak 300 that it desperately needed after shocking turnouts the last 2 years. It's just a shame it didn't get the coverage it deserved because, in the words of ABBA, money, money, money. Let's get back to racing here.
Here he goes. He's trying to be a bit sneaky here.
Dennis Gaderick giving him a big hurry up, and now they put the foot to the floor and away they go. Back to green, the GT3 Series at the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. On the run down towards turn 1. So Liam Reston's got the early jump. Dennis Gaderick tucks in behind. Trent Ravis and Chris Whitaker follow him through. Move further back there, John Merritt and Paul Rogers swapping over. And Merritt going through into position number 5. And wide through 2. And round the outside goes Rogers into turn 3. So it's status quo at the front.
Now that the field's all single file, it's been a lot better start. And now we're not going 4 or 5 cars wide, we're only going 2 cars wide, which is good.
Exactly. So everyone's happy in that sense.
Okay, so I got just a message here through from Race Control, drive through for Peter Hunter for start line contact. So he might have been the one that caused or was involved in the skirmish at turn 4 there.
So he not only of course, well, there were 2 separate incidents we should point out. There was the Paul Wood incident, and then there was the incident for the car that got slammed into the wall there at turn 4, or turn 3, as we say. So it was interesting, but now that we're settled into a rhythm, we've got 32.5 minutes to go in this race. So we lost about 11 minutes of play time, unfortunately, up behind the safety car. It's a 4-lap caution. We're on lap 5. And Ferrari, for the first time this season, leading. Liam Reston doing a nice job. There's that confirmation on the screen, that penalty for Peter Hunter. 32 minutes left. Garrett trying to go with Reston. Pit stops are going to be crucial here, Nick, just to see who can get the whole shot through the pit lane.
100%. I don't know which car's faster on the straights. I think the Ferrari is a faster car in a straight line, but overall the Audi is a slightly faster car. So here we go. Someone's got a run here. Is this Chris Whitaker in the BMW on?
Certainly is. Yep. So the two mates setting each other up. Whitaker on the outside. Ravers holding on the inside though. Whitaker unable to get through. And now he's going to come under pressure from Paul Rogers. Liam Reston's clocked the fastest lap of the race. That's important to note. 133.4. Unsurprising, of course, it was the first flying lap. Watch the times maybe tumble down from there. 31.16 left in the race. 31.16. Making our way through the back section of the circuit, the tight, twisty section. Sector 2, of course, the slower sector of the 3 in terms of average speed. Watch them wind up the wick once they get round turn 12 and 13. Maverick Benson, 12th place at the moment.
Oh, nice helmet.
Absolutely. Very nice helmet. Nice to have the company of those of you that are joining us for the first time.
Bit of a conga line here behind Glenn Sido-Riddell and Paul Mansell.
Dave Farrelly commenting earlier on our socials that the restart will be good. Too right it was. Here's Maverick Benson still.
We need to get
Aglock cars here.
too, by the way. I've been trying to contact him. Oh, Jackson!
Hey! Look at Rayhana around the outside. So, he's done a nice job there. Dennis Gaderick now the fastest lap of the race, 100th of a second between him and Reston in terms of the fastest lap fight there. 32.47 played 32.48. Now they make their way through turn 4. 5. No under 6. Rayhana's up into 11th after starting 14th into 11th. Next target, Glenn Sido-Riddell.
That Guy Leach picture always makes me laugh because it makes sense. Guy Leach eats Nutrigrain.
Exactly right. It makes a lot of sense. I love it. And lacks the swagger of Jackson's picture, but still.
Johannes here, he's the one that stepped up?
Yes.
Yes,
Johannes Koch.
Mixing up with, where is he on the timing sheets? I can't see him.
Position number 21 at the moment.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, 21st, and 22nd with Parry right there behind him in the Penrite car. Parry getting lots of laps here. They've got to have a 300 down south for him at some point, haven't they?
Well, they did. They were going to try and have one at Sydney Motorsport Park in May, but that got cancelled because of COVID. The Wakefield 300 did go ahead in February, but the Winton 300, there's a lot of doubt being cast over whether that'll go ahead or not because of the ongoing Vic border closures and the like. Now, through they go.
Yeah. Look at this.
Richard Mitchum doing a nice job.
Rayhana, Benson, Mitchell.
Oh no, round goes. Dan Siciliano. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. I don't know how, but he's managed to avoid a monumental spin there and save himself a truck ton of time.
He's got Warwick Sharp and Paul Wood on his tail now. And I just watched the timing screen, they've got him past him.
Right, watch Dan Siciliano. Actually, no, this is a different replay. Apologies. This is what you're seeing on your screen there. Just another off track, but nothing too major. Now,
Paul Wood, Warwick Sharp, and Adam Davis just got past Dan there on the run up to the Ferradura.
Not sure what's happened to Jackson Rayhana, but he's now showing 23rd on our timesheets, so we'll try and figure out that for you. Maybe this Stone Cold replay will go a long way to highlighting that. Here he is. Uh-oh. On the way through the left-hander, that'll do it. Uh-oh, bang.
Barrier, Bufka.
See ya. Unlucky. Yeah. And look at how much damage it's done to the right side of the car.
The Ferradura, you can't have two bites at the cherry at that corner. It's just too quick. Too quick uphill, you've got to get it right. One movement of the wheel is all you need.
Comment of the night on our Facebook socials, Jamie Welch. Just got home, daylight saving sucks. No, Jamie, Daylight saving sucks because Queensland doesn't observe it. That's the only thing. 3 wide. Have a look at this. I'll come back to that in a moment because it's a good point. Have a look at Paul Rogers down the inside. Trent Lavis on the outside. Whittaker through the middle, and Whittaker goes to third. Lavis up on the outside, side by side with Rogers. Rogers is going to muscle him out, and here comes John Merritt as well. So that explains the absence of Jamie Welch tonight. Nick, as we go back to you, as Trent Lavis muscles out Paul Rogers to hold on to fourth.
Far out. So Trent had a terrible run through the centre S there and got it wrong on the second part. That's what gave these guys the incentive down the back stretch. And Chris Whittaker's finally now passed him, but let's see if he can pull a gap.
We will indeed. 26 minutes left on the clock here. Look at Chris Whittaker. Third. Trent Lavis fourth. Paul Rogers fifth. John Merritt going with them. Richard Hunter in behind. Then Yanni Sortoriou. Small, tight margins between this entire mid-pack at the moment. Meanwhile, out in front, Liam Reston's got Dennis Gaderick at bay.
You know, it's Trent's got Count Duckula on the front.
Yes, exactly. Round onto the main straight. Something's happened to Adam Lavis. We'll find out there in a moment. Here we go.
Here he is, Castrol car. Ferradura bites again. The Ferradura bites.
And this time he's spun it around but kept it off the wall and done nicely. Doesn't help him. He'll still lose a truck load of time there, but here's what it is. Here's Dennis Gaderick. We're on board with him now. Let's ride. Gaderick chasing Reston. This is first and second in the car race. Gaderick, I think, is just waiting for his moment, waiting for the pit stop window. That's where he usually gets it covered, gets it done.
He's sitting about half a second for most of this race so far behind Liam here. So I think he's just biding his time, waiting for like you said, waiting for the pit stops and then jump him there because he can just save some fuel now.
Indeed. 24:55 left on the clock. So this is Paul Rogers in fourth, under pressure from John Merritt. Now Trent Lavis is back to third because something's happened to Chris Whittaker and he's lost 3 spots. He's slipped down to sixth.
Oh, wow.
Here's what... Yep. And what happened to Whittaker happened all before that. Trent Lavis got down on the inside of Rogers there. 6-car fight. And, obviously Whittaker's been muscled out before all of that happened.
Like I said at the start, first one to blink, first one to make a mistake, you just drop. Here we go again.
Hey, Lavis in the lane. Lavis in the lane. That's important to note. Merritt to third, Rogers to fourth. Then Whittaker in behind him. Yanni Sortoriou's up in sixth and Richard Hunter seventh. Then Paul Mansell, Guy Leach, Richard Mitchum, then Maverick Benson. Then Brendan Whittaker, Luke Turner, Jaden Schmidt, and Lee settles the top 5. Glenn Cito Riddell also in the lane, so too Trent Lavis.
So just watching Trent's pit stop. He hit 9 seconds stationary. He's just coming on his way out again. He has tumbled down the field. I think he was just going to go to halfway and fill it. At least he knows how much he needs to put in, but some of these other guys are going to try and push it a bit further and only do a short fill.
Indeed. So,
just a quick update too. Jeff Connell up to 18th now.
Yes, after starting down in 37th. Biggest mover of the night so far. Jeff Connell up 19 spots. Also, Jaden Schmidt up 10 spots. That's nice to see. Rick Sibber up 10 spots. So Schmidt started 24th up to 14th. Sibber started 31st up to 21st. Justin Schwercourt started 32nd up to 22nd. Some big movers in the field here. We'll go through the field for you shortly and have a look through. Michael Martin already out of this race. He's a lap down in terms of our outright contention here. Just having a look at the iRacing server. We have no retirements thus far, but Martin, as I say, a lap down, probably out of contention this early or this late in the piece. We're at half race distance already, if you can believe that. Liam Reston, I should say, is under serious pressure from D-Nice Gaderick.
I was about to say, yeah, Dennis's body language, so to speak, to use Neil Crompton's words, Dennis's body language is a bit more urgent now. So I think he's trying to get either put a lot of pressure onto Liam or get past before the pit stop. So those two have pulled out quite a lead there of 8.9 seconds to place because they've been mucking around and swapping positions like a super speedway restrictor plate race in NASCAR.
Exactly. Can Liam answer the challenge though? Can he sustain the pressure here and withhold an advance from Gaderick?
I hope so. Brendan Winnicker in, as you can see at the bottom there. I hope so, but the Dennis Gaderick steamroller has just been going on and on. So we can only hope. Nothing against Dennis, great guy, but it's just this flat domination is just like, wow, can anybody stop him?
Indeed. So it's 21:40 left in the race here.
We thought the Pro Mazdas was tight. Look at this. The field has not separated at all.
Which is good. It just goes to show you why everyone's been asking for us to go racing at this circuit in Interlagos, Brazil, Sao Paulo, the venue tonight. And it's because of the racing it provides. We've not been disappointed by anything we've seen here thus far. Michael Hammond and Jackson Rayhana, along with Troy Cox, stole the show earlier in Pro Mazda in the Intro to Wings series. And right here, right now, this is good to watch in the GTs. Here's Trent Lavis down on the inside.
He come out in traffic, so he's in quite a bit now. So he's got to really push, lifting wheels, come across curbs. It's going to compromise his run up the hill. Who's he in behind now?
This could compromise his whole race, though, Nick. That's the problem.
100%. I think if he, I've got a feeling he's going to come out on the wrong end of that lead battle, that second group battle there going through turn 4 and 5 at the moment. We can only hope he can bust out some good laps, but yeah, he's just going to be caught behind all those slower guys. Here's Richard Hunter, Mr. GT himself. Won the, was it season 2 of GT4s and done really well in GT3s last season as well.
He certainly did. He certainly did. It's been good to watch his progress throughout the course of the season, Richard Hunter. And, of course, in GT4 a couple of months back, it was the Hunter and Hammond show, and it was always good to watch, whilst also trying to keep an eye on what was happening in the GT3s. And Lavis around the outside. Nope, locked it up on the exit. Got it crossed up, lost a little bit of time.
2 cars wide at the Ferradura corner, and
oh no! Contact! Lavis goes round!
And that's the risk when you get put back into traffic, unfortunately.
Wow.
If we do see it again, you'll see that he went side by side through the Ferradura corner, which is very hard to do.
With the
and then coming out here
with the Stone Cold Matt Austin entry. Have a look at this. There's the contact. 1, 2, 3.
Counter, yeah.
Let's pirouette now. Did well. Couldn't keep it off the wall though. Lavis goes round, drops right down the order now. It'll be interesting to see because normally there's a rage quit from Trent Lavis when incidents like that happen. Not this time around. He's continued on, which is good to see. 19 minutes to go here.
Jackson Rayhana in the pits. 14.9 second stops, a bit longer than everybody else's was by about 5 seconds here. So he'll be on his way out as we watch the lead pair have not been split by more than half a second. Dennis is now a quarter of a second on him, away from Liam. First one to pit, I think, will lose out because they'll be fed back into traffic.
Correct. Lavis and Rayhana both involved in incidents here so far. Glenn Riddell's buried in the order. Brendan Whitaker's well down. There's a lot of storylines playing out here at the moment. At the front of the field, there is Gaderick on the inside. Have a look at that at turn 1. Gaderick to the lead on the inside of Liam Reston. He waited no more. The patience had dissolved and Gaderick said enough's enough. I'm going to take charge here and continue my dominance of this GT3 series. You're not getting in my way, Liam Reston. And now Gaderick is the race leader once more. So I'll have a replay of that for you in just a moment here, folks. Well worth pointing out. Brilliant job from SimShed Broadcasting here to bring you the latest action. And Gaderick in the slipstream set it up beautifully and then just sent it down the inside. Yeah, exactly. Through the dummy. Said, no, I'll just tuck him behind you. Went to the outside to take the high line and then last minute chop across And away he went into the lead. Well played.
Saw the dummy, and it was a controlled out-braking maneuver too. Usually when people do that, myself included, all sorts of smoke signals coming off the tyres and everything, but he did really well then. So he's got just on half a second there gap. So, Cito Riddell.
Finds Cito Riddell in 13th there.
Oh, he's running wide.
Runs too wide. Under pressure there at the moment from the hard charger.
He's got Rick
That is Rick Sibra.
And Paul Wood right behind him.
So they've started okay. Just getting word through that Jeff Connell's still on a charge here. We expected that. Here he is. Down the outside on the main straight. And that'll be Connell going into 13th, I think you'll find, on the outside of Siddles. Can he get it done? No, he tucks him behind. But watch it at the end of the back straight because, by gee, they're going along nicely. Okay, that's an interesting one. Down the back straight. Let's see if Connell can get this job done this time. Down the inside. Oh, by gee, locked it up. And gathered it up. Holy smoke. That was well done by Jeff Connell. At one point there, it looked like he had no control whatsoever what was going on there. The car was taily and waggly through turn 4, but Connell's managed to prevail on the other side with another position, and that'll move him up into position number 13 now.
Up 24 spots.
And still, still a chance of being in the top 10 at the end of it, Nick.
100%. He's first to have pitted, but his pit stop time is only 4 seconds, so I don't know if that was just to top up the tank. As we see here, the Ferrari of Liam Reston closing right in. Here we go. No, yep. Yes, no, yes, no.
Yes. Oh, no. I was getting excited. The onboard shot showed and told the story. It looked like he was going to have a crack, but no, he tucked back in at the last.
Hunter in pit lane.
These guys will have to stop, but it's a matter of when, not if. Adam Lavis in more trouble we're hearing at the moment. Here's the Stone Cold replay. Oh, yep, looped it again. Up at the same point, I reckon.
The Ferradura corner, guarantee it. Here it goes.
Yep. Bang. Thank God there was a tyre wall there. Cushion the blow. Because I tell you, the tyre wall's going to hurt less than the car
And a Stark
that was parked on the other side.
I can't even say his surname. And Justin in. Both of
That would be Parry Anastakis, yes. Very nicely done. He's going all right. Parry?
Well, it looks like Liam isn't letting Dennis get away too much. So they're sitting around roughly the same gap, time-wise, and yeah, just a different order. So once again, the first one to pit, or the one that has a longer pit stop, will be the one that loses out in that one. As we see Yanni coming in here into the
Indeed it is.
corner going onto the main straight, chasing Paul Rogers and John Merritt.
Yeah. Sort of Ryu's had an okay run tonight. Sitting in 5th at the moment. Rogers, Merritt, Reston and Gaderick only ahead of him. And it's Merritt and Rogers that are giving him a hurry up. Rogers into the lane, so that moves Yanni up into 4. Merritt the next target. Yanni, of course, was the star at about this 2-hour race that we had at the end of the second series. He, of course, shot up into finish in 3rd, holding off Richard Hunter in the closing stages. And he first in the Pro-Am field in that split Pro-Am contest. I'm looking forward to more of that later on in the season. Hopefully we'll have another Pro-Am duel on the mountain on what will be November 23.
Paul Wood,
Final round of the season, the final week of the year, and then we got December and January off to regroup and reset, which will be lovely. Come back and rip and tear at the end of January.
It's almost like NASCAR. We got one every week.
Yes. Well, this is right. Everyone's going to be feeling it at the end of the year. I think we're all looking forward to a good, solid break over the off-season.
So the first car to have pitted is Jeff Connell. but once again, he only took 4 seconds of stop time, so I'm not too. And that was on lap 2, actually. I'm not too sure if he's got enough fuel to make it.
Well, this is a good point. This is a very good point. Because the fact that we went around for 4 laps under the safety car will have helped everybody extend their fuel run. But how long?
Still Dennis Gaddick from Liam Reston, only half a second. Another car into the pits. John Merritt,
Sorcery up the outside as Merritt goes into the lane.
Guy Leach and Maverick Benson, teammates in.
Sorcery continues.
So I'm going to keep an eye on these stop times.
This is a critical lap. Now, have a look at this at the front of the field. Liam Reston has really gone with Dennis Gaderick tonight. This has been a tremendous performance from Liam Reston, really taking it to Dennis Gaderick, putting the pressure to the championship leader, the man that's dominated the season thus far. And as I said in the opener in both the broadcast and this portion of it, if they don't go with him tonight, if no one can get in the way of him winning tonight, that's it. It's curtains. The series is his for the to lose from that point. At the moment, Liam Reston's the only one that can stop him. There's the Nutrigrain entry of Guy Leach.
Just watching, Guy Leach just jumped his teammate and, who was it? John Merritt out of the pits there. So,
Mansell's his teammate and John Merritt is jumped as well.
Yeah, so he was third car in line but with those guys and he's just jumped them and now he's right on the back of Mr. Richard Hunter.
Jeff Connell is position number 8 here. That's extraordinary.
My gut feeling is he might have to top it up again because Paul Wood has just done that and he stopped with him. Wow, look at these two, still nose to tail.
Yeah, have a look at this. This is just phenomenal stuff. Gaderick holding off Reston at the moment, but barely. What a tremendous fight this has been. 10 minutes left on the clock. Still none the wiser as to who's going to win the thing. And when are they topping up? When are they coming to the lane? When is fuel an equation in their race? Take into consideration.
Be interesting because there was differing tank sizes and differing fuel burn rates for each car. So I know in the Ford GT, having raced that last season, it is a bit more fuel hungry than most of the other cars. It had a bit more tank capacity as such, but who knows? Maybe the Ferrari's faster in a straight line, but chews up more fuel, and that's why maybe Liam's sitting there behind Dennis to try and get a bit better fuel economy. But maybe the Audi's better on fuel. I don't know. Be interested to see these guys' comments or hear the comments after the race.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a fascinating post-race show. Stick around with us wherever you're watching around Australia. Plenty to come on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube as soon as this one is done. This is Dennis Gaderick holding on. The margin's about 0.4 of a second. There is nothing in this. It may not be the grandstanding of the intro to wings, but by gee, this GT3 race has not disappointed. Onto the main straight. When do they come to the lane? Do they need to come to the lane? Gaderick the leader. In goes Reston. In goes Reston. Gaderick continues on. So can Reston do the up and under, the undercut, when Gaderick does the overcut? We'll wait and see. This needs to be precise precision work from Reston. Gaderick continues on. Another lap in the books for the Skid Control Audi. What a superb performance this has been. He hasn't added all his own way tonight, but by gee, with 8.25 minutes to go, he's still right in contention.
So Reston here now, he's right in front of Jeff Connell. So Reston would be the
And
third
Connell's fifth.
to have done his pit service, and his stop time was 8.3 seconds, whereas Jeff Connell's was 4 seconds back on lap 2. So I guess we got to wait now to see where Dennis is the only car to have got.
Is he stopping this time by? Let's have a look. Let's keep an eye on this. The answer is no.
Yes.
Actually, no, it is. Yes, it is. This time round, Gaderick comes into the 7.5 minutes, 7.25 minutes left on the clock. Dennis Gaderick is in the lane. This the most critical point of the race right now.
We might have to go to a chopper shot to see what's going on the track here.
The ocular aerial shot. Let's see if we can call on that.
That or a blimp. I'm watching Gaderick's time here. 8 seconds. 9 seconds. And he's
Reston. And Reston's going to lead this thing. Gaderick's going to be a distant second. Liam Reston is going to lead at the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. The upset is on the cards with 6 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock.
So
Liam Reston's going to lead by a good margin.
Reston did an 8.3 second stop in his Ferrari, whereas Gaderick did a 9.8 second stop in his Audi.
And that's all the difference between the pair of them. That's about a second and a half. That just goes to show you how tight this race has been. Liam Reston's going to lead this thing with 6 minutes to go, which is 4 laps around here. This and 4 more to go.
So Gaderick's got his work cut out. Oh wow, look at this.
7th, 8th, 9th, 6th and 10th all in a gaggle right here, right now. Richard Mitchum has his work cut out for him. Parianastakis is in there. I think Glencito Riddell or John Merritt rather. John Merritt.
I think Guy Leach is the cork in the bottle here, because everybody's stacked up behind him. Oh. Yeah, everybody's stacked up behind him because he's got 2 seconds to the cars in front, and they got a bit of a battle going on. But yes, the 4GT of Guy Leach, battling hard
7.
with Yanni, Richard, John. And we got Maverick, Chris Whitaker, Jeff Connell. So Jeff Connell must have gone in and taken a bit of a top up.
Oh, Leach. Leach was wide on the exit of 13. Anastakis. Is it? No, it's not Anastakis. My apologies. It's Mitchum. So up the inside. Nicely done. They'll go side by side down the main straight. Another lap in the books. Oh, it's all on back there, isn't it?
It's Yanni Soteriou.
Yanni Soteriou from 9th. Up he goes. Oh, it's hard to keep an eye on all of this at the same and be across all of it, folks. Hope you're making as much sense of it as we're trying to here. Yanni Soteriou moves up to 6. Guy Leach, Richard Mitchum and John Merritt. The next 3.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cars, maybe possibly 8.
It's a brilliant fight. It's a brilliant scrap. 4.5 minutes to go. 3 laps after the one they're on now. The leader is Reston. Gaderick is only 0.9 away. So Gaderick is doing his best over the next 3 laps to close on Reston. There might well be a last lap duke out between Reston and Gaderick. This is going to be huge. Not sure what happened to Chris Whitaker, but he's buried down there in 11th place after starting 4th. Look at Gaderick closing up on Liam Reston. Across the line, they'll go. To go at Interlagos. 0.7 the margin. Gaderick's in the box seat to have a crack on the last lap. If he can keep closing it down, chasing down that deficit. But he better than anyone what went down there to cost him that 2.5. So we will wait and see. Anyone's guess right now. Nick Reston in the box seat, but we know Gaderick can pass him.
Yeah, but quote Murray Walker, catching is one thing, passing is another, and he's only got 3 minutes to do it.
Exactly. The great man was 97 on Saturday.
Reston's got a bit more up his sleeve here. However, saying that, Gaderick's really closing him down on the brakes. So, whoa, we've got to watch the breath.
We're going to have a grandstand finish, as a colleague of mine, Lockie Mansell, would put it, right here, right now. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, SimShed Broadcasting, Monday Night Motorsport, round 4 of the GT Series from the Interlagos circuit in Brazil, with thanks to LJ Hooker Gaindar, Central Coast Subaru, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Ocular, and Simple Sim Computers. Look at this. Gaderick's right there. It's 2 car lengths, if that. Reston to Gaderick. Reston has driven a brilliant race all night, the best we've seen from anyone other than Gaderick all season. And that Gaderick, with 2 laps to go, is going to have a tremendous opportunity to continue and keep his winning streak alive here. This is an extraordinary, tense standoff between first and second in the closing 2 laps. Through turn 1, 2 and 3, they take slightly different lines. Reston's got 2 car lengths over Gaderick. There's nothing in this though. The slightest slip up from Reston and Gaderick will pounce. I'm not brave enough to call this, Nick. I think this could go either way, and I think it will only be decided in the last sector. It's just got that feel to it.
Well, they
1 minute 38 on the clock.
They're catching up to some back markers now. So who we got? Andrew Goldman, Rick Sieber, and Daniel Birchnell. So this could get interesting with a minute 30 to go.
So
Dennis
here we
has
go.
caught him, but he's got to try and get past now. So Dennis is very measured in the way he drives. I've never seen him do a kamikaze move, but could this be the night where he pulls it?
This could be the night. Absolutely. Have a look at them. A car length is all that separates them. Reston and Gaderick. A minute on the clock. They'll come back around onto the main straight. The last lap board in the air. 0.3 of a second is all that separates first and second in this car race. It needs to be centimetre perfect from Gaderick if he's to keep his winning streak alive. Reston's driven a brilliant race here. And again, it could be similar to what we've seen in other races so far this season. Another one that's won in the pits. And Gaderick around the outside wanted to have a real crack at Reston there. Couldn't quite get it done. They'll make their way through 2 on the run through 3. Reston, I think, might just have done enough there.
Coming down to 4. Where do you go? Oh,
Look at the lap traffic.
Right now.
Look at the lap traffic. To their credit, we should point out that the top 32 are still on the lead lap here, so they may just have enough in the tank to hold this pair off. This won't be decided by lap traffic, but Gaderick's going to have to get it done now or just put up with second and end that winning streak. He's won the last 4 GT races that we've brought you. Of course, in the GT3 series on a Monday night, he won round 10 of Series 2. He won races 1, 2, and 3 of Season 3. And now he's with a tremendous chance of getting this at the death to continue the winning streak and keep his run alive. Down they come. Last legitimate overtaking opportunity right here into turn 13. He signs it! He signs it! They've come together! Reston and Gaderick, they've come together! Gaderick redresses. Reston will get the job done, but not without some drama in Brazil. We've got a new winner in the GT3 series. His name is Liam Reston, but what a fight from the champ. Unbelievable. How good's Monday Night Motorsport been? October 12th style. Bloody sensational. 46 minutes of racing, and it's all that separated was about half a second. A coat of varnish. Magnificent. Really good stuff. Reston from Gaderick, trouble at the end for a couple of cars there, getting crushed up after they've got across the finish line. But that was really good stuff. Reston, Gaderick, Hunter, Mansell, Rogers, then Sorteria, Leach, Mitchum, Merritt, and Benson. Let's have a look at the incident again, Nick. Talk us through it.
Well, the last braking zone of the lap, Dennis had to have a go.
Had to.
Liam and Dennis are both on the grasscrete. Dennis has gone to the inside, but Liam has to turn in at some point. And unfortunately, Dennis rode over his wheel, and that was that. But great sportsmanship there by Dennis, and plus they had a huge lead that he could come to his lights and say, "Get on with it, mate." That was the end of that. But look, all credit to Liam for driving a fantastic race, and wrapping that one up. You wished for a different winner. Don't tell Dennis, and you got it.
Well, I think the audience wanted a different winner as well. I didn't necessarily want a different winner. I just made the mention at the top of the show that if we don't have a different winner, he will walk away with it too easily. He might have been able to be in a position to wrap it up before the championship reached its final round. There are the final results. Reston, Gaderick, Hunter, Mansell, Rogers, Sortery, Leach, Mickman, then Merritt with Benson rounding out the top 10. Connell came back to 11th. That was a good charge, up 26 spots. Charger of the night. Whitaker 12th, not sure what happened there. Turner, Schmidt, Angus, Siddles, then Wood and Astakis, then Rayhana and Schwercourt. So a bad night at the office for Jackson Rayhana as well. Let's go over the page. Up to 21st, Aaron Cooper, Peter Hunter, then Warwick Sharp, Cal Crowther, Brendan Whitaker, James M.D. Wood, Bevan Moyes, Rick Sibra, Andrew Goldman, Daniel Birchnell made up the top 30. Then Johannes Koch, Dan Siciliano, Adam Lavis, Michael Martin, and then the rest were retirement. Stone Cold, Matty Austin, then, of course, Glenn Tito Riddell and Trent Lavis rounding out the field there. So Lavis did rage quit in the end. How about all of that? I don't know where you start in summarising all of that. That was quite extraordinary.
Yeah, exactly. Where do you start? I guess
all I know is I've got to lubricate the vocal cords after that.
I guess we got to start by when people start coming in for a bit of an interview. What a race! Both races tonight have been fantastic, top shelf. That was out of all the leaders, that last braking zone on the last lap of the GTs was the only time paint was traded with leaders.
Exactly. Stuff Bathurst, let's go racing at the Interlagos circuit every week. That was top shelf. Really good stuff. Both races decided in the last couple of corners. Both races going down to the wire. 2 contenders fighting for the lead in race 1. 3 contenders in race 1, 2 in race 2. You can't ask for much more than that. That was really good. Now, shortly we'll have... We might even get to catch up with Michael Porter, Chris Stark and Paul Nichols here very shortly. They're all sitting in race control or the broadcast green room. A few of our drivers will hopefully come down and have a chat as well. Look, to be perfectly honest, Nick, this is the circuit we've been screaming for all year. It was worth the wait.
Yeah. I mean, the boys did muck around and lose a bit of track time, but, you know, the race was fantastic at the end there. For all categories. It was fantastic.
Indeed. All right. The results have been sent through from the Pro-Am split. I'll get to that in just a moment. Hopefully Paul Nichols will come and have a chat to us about his own race. And Nick's gone out to chase a few drivers for a chat here as well. So we stand by. We'll have some drivers pop on by hopefully very shortly. I'm particularly interested in hearing from Jeff Connell how he went faring through the field. Charging through from, well, what was it in the end? 37th to 11th. So that was good stuff, but it looks like he's already jumped out of Discord there. So we'll wait and see who else might jump on down and have a chat to us. In the meantime, a very belated good evening to Paul Nichols.
Hey, gents. That was good fun. Loved it in the Pro-Am split. Really good fun.
All right, well, I've got an event result here for you. And no wonder he thought it was very good fun, Nick, because the Pro-Am split was won by our own Paul Nichols. So no wonder he thought it was good fun. Well done, Nico.
Yeah, great. A P1 for quali, so 5 bonus points, but I had 2 incident points during the race, just one of those races, yeah. But really, yeah, I just kind of, I led from the lead. I did a Mikey Hammond, just kind of took off and had, I can't remember the gap at the end, it was like 15 seconds or something.
I have to move you up.
We got Jeff Connell standing by, so I'll bring Jeff in as well, and we'll get to him in just a moment. Stand by there, Jeff. So the Pro-Am results, and we'll get the points once Adam Lavis has crunched all the numbers. Paul Nichols from Andrew Hayes, Scott Harris, Jared Daly, and David Riddell, the top 5. Doysan, James Wilkins, then Ken Munro, Curtis Williams, and Thomas Martin, the top 10 in the end. They had a very healthy field of 34 in Pro-Am to go with the 37 we had in Pro. So that was really good. Well worth the fun. Nico, I'm going to come back to you in a moment because I just want to have a quick chat to Jeff Connell because, Jeff, it was worth the wait to see how you fared there, mate. Probably not as high up as you would have liked, but 37th to 11th around here when you lose 11 minutes behind the safety car, that's a pass.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get that high with such a low safety car, so it's hard. Yeah, couldn't really use strategy either because everyone bit of a sprint race with one quick fuel stop. So yeah, and didn't gain too many spots from people crashing in front either. Like it seemed pretty clean in front. There wasn't cars falling off everywhere. So yeah, pretty tough to get up there.
Very nice, but I mean, as you said, you were thinking about jumping in. You're not a regular championship contender in GT3 at the moment. You're focusing on the Porsche GT3s on Wednesday night. However, as I said in the call, because it only occurred to me after we exchanged messages, and I said, "Do it, burn from the stern, entertain us while you go." It only occurred to me this is actually good preparation for you for 3 weeks' time, or 16 days' time, really, if you want to be realistic about it. The 28th of October, the Porsche GT3 Round 4 racecraft at this circuit.
There you go. I didn't even know that. I never looked that far ahead. But
Oh, come on, Jeff.
yeah, it's they're fairly different to drive, but yeah, I suppose it can't hurt.
Well, yeah, well, this is exactly right. Not so much, as you say, not so much from a car experience standpoint, but just getting yourself familiarised with the circuit.
Yeah, and racing as well. It's good to see how it races and good and bad spots to overtake and that sort of thing. So yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt.
How was the race from your standpoint? Obviously, as you say, not too many incidents ahead of you, apart from maybe the opening lap there that triggered the safety car. But once we got back underway, she was fairly smooth, fairly steady sailing. And obviously, we know there were a lot of overtaking opportunities around here. You capitalised on most of them. Strategy play in the end saw you come out in 11th, so just outside the top 10. How'd you find charging through the field, though? Was it easier or harder than you expected?
It was pretty hard. When you start 37th, you're always sort of praying to pick up a heap of spots on a start, and I didn't. I had to stop because the track was blocked with that first corner crash. So I think on the restart, I restarted 36th or something. So, so I suppose it made it good fun. Haven't passed that many cars in a long time. So, not racing for points, and I'm not into this open setup thing, so I wasn't going to go chasing a victory at the front and test all week for it. I just wanted to quickly jump in and have some fun from the back. So yeah, definitely did that.
Nicely done, mate. Thoughts on the GT3s, because the Porsches, I should say, because they're coming up again on Wednesday night, Road Atlanta this time around.
It's pretty cool. Get to race another brand new track.
That's it.
So yeah, it's pretty. Any track's difficult in those. Like, you're doing well if you do a 40-minute race and don't spin it out. So
yes,
it should be fun. That series has been good fun, and those cars are awesome with no ABS and really slippery cars. So they're good fun to race. Bit less forgiving. Probably more fun than these actually.
Probably indeed. We've got Jackson Ray Hunter standing by in the green room. Let me drag him into the broadcast booth. Jeff, hang there, mate, if you can. If not, we'll catch up soon. I'm going to throw the conversation around at this point in time, because I said at the start of the call, Dennis Gaderick was in the box seat. If he didn't lose tonight, I reckon that was going to be curtains as far as the championship was concerned. And I tell you what, didn't you come close? Maybe a little bit too close there in the last lap, Dennis. Second, mate, you keep that podium streak alive, but the win streak is over. 4 on the trot, couldn't become 5, unfortunately. What were your thoughts on all of that? Because, by gee, you got a tremendous run for your money from Liam Reston tonight.
Absolutely, mate. The guy drove like an absolute champion. Even when I was putting the pressure on him, there was not one mistake. He was still hitting his apexes, his brake marks. The guy was just absolutely smashing it. A little bit of a mistake on sort of my end, where my pedal is sort of the little cable. I've got one that goes up behind the throttle. It got stuck there, and I wasn't losing too much, but it was kind of like 99% throttle. So I didn't realize the pit stops were that short. So I was trying to just sort of weave it out a little bit, and I managed to. But by the time I looked up, my car was already dropped. So I was like, oh no, there goes some time. So when I saw I didn't exactly lose that much to him, I must have picked it up right as the car dropped, essentially. Obviously, I sent it. Don't want to make contact. That was really my badness. By the time I pulled out, I already had my brakes locked, or the ABS working, and the car wasn't turning. So, yeah, I wasn't just gonna speed past. I was obviously gonna redress, and that was that. Essentially, it was a good race, but crazy good race.
Indeed. Best race of the season in terms of outright fights are concerned, and of course we've had 2 of them tonight. We've been very, very lucky. On the subject, Jackson Ray Hunter, we're coming to you very shortly. I still think Intro to Wings was the best race of the night. Nick might disagree with me, but we'll see what we make in our final analysis of all of that very shortly. Dennis, it's still going to be a lead at the top of the championship. It's still going to be comfortable, but now probably that you've had this upset, isn't the time to get complacent. And just to go back to your point where you were talking about the pit stops, by what Nick was saying, we believe you lost 1.5 seconds. His pit stop was 1.5 seconds quicker than yours in the end, and that could have been all the difference.
That exactly, yeah. And I came out 1 second in front of him, behind him. Sorry. So, no, that was definitely there. That was my bad. To be fair with you, I wasn't losing enough time. If I sort of had my time again, I probably wouldn't have touched it. It was only like 0.3 a lap roughly, but that Ferrari had legs, man. It was really interesting because I'd catch him all the way up through those little hairpins, and then he would absolutely start pulling away down the straights. I could only keep up with him relatively in the toe. But yeah, when he started getting the toe on me, you could really sort of see it. I was kind of surprised to be pulling a little bit before the pits, but it was just a seesaw. I'd pull away, he'd catch up. I'd pull away, he'd catch up. It was just a good battle, man. It's like that's why we sim race essentially. It was great.
Exactly. Jeff Connell mentioned, we heard him there a couple of minutes ago, talking about the open setup and that ability to tweak things here and there and spend the week getting ready for this. Would that play a little role in your defeat tonight? Would you have a suggestion on that or an insight on that, mate?
Oh no, I personally think that from what we saw last season, and again what we're maybe seeing this season is open sets sort of bring the field a little bit closer together. If we're going, through baseline, BMW has a crazy advantage. I'm personally for the open sets. I mean, it's not difficult to get a VRS set or a Craig's, setup shop set or a, PDS set. So there's definitely sets out there to get, and they obviously make it pretty much for that reason, so people can just jump on and race. And yeah, I mean, there's options for setups, let's put it that way, and they're all great. It's all really, it's all professional sim sports drivers that make them, and if they can do a lap time that's 2 seconds quicker than yours, well then it's not the setup's problem. So it's kind of at the end of the day, I think open setups are working, bringing the field closer together. I mean, what was the start? It was Ferrari, Audi, BMW, Audi, and then followed by Ferrari. So that's mixed as it can get, essentially.
Well, essentially, when you put it that way, all Audi's done is take Mercedes' place at the front from last season.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, to be fair with you, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's certain cars in the series that will, suit different driving styles, which is kind of why I went with the Audi. The Audi is, I thought that the Fezza was driven on the rear wheels quite a fair bit, but yeah, the Audi a little bit more so. Kind of lacks that front end grip that the Ferrari does. But yeah, at the same time, you just got to pick a car that suits you. And sort of just go from there. And I genuinely think if you're comfortable, if you're comfortable in a car, you maybe let's say there is a mechanical advantage, and you're doing qualifying and you do set a lap time that's 0.2 slower than what you'd set in another car, but in the race you'd be so much quicker because you're comfortable in it and you're able to be more consistent. So it's all about just finding a car really, and then just getting a set. That's it.
Your winning deficit there in the end, the margin Liam had over you was 1.4. We know it was a lot closer than that. Obviously, you gave him the benefit of the doubt and redressed the issue on circuit when you had the contact there at the second last corner. So that was the closest margin we've seen between first and second in the GT3 Pro split so far this year. Paul Nichols actually did the Dennis Gaderick in the Pro-Am split tonight, winning by 19.5 seconds. So, Nico, just on that, does that mean that you come up and play with the big boys next week, or are you going to just stay down there and count your chickens?
No, I'm just looking at the lap times. Actually, the amateur split were quicker than the Pro-Am, so I think I'll just stay where I am. Thanks.
I thought you might say that. All right, fantastic. Let's throw the conversation around. Dennis Tang there for me. Chris Whittaker, let's go to you. 12th in the end, behind Jeff Connell. Maybe not the greatest night at the office. It started so well. You're in the top 4, in the top 5 there, fighting away with Trent and a couple of others in the opening stages, Dennis included. And we missed what happened to you. What exactly was the downfall of your evening, mate?
Had a bit of a rub with Trent at the start there and gave me a bit of damage. Then we'll sort of...
Okay.
The queue was getting held up a bit, so I thought I'd roll the dice on strategy. But apparently it's they fight harder for 28th back there than what they do for first in this league. So it's it was pretty hard getting through. Even if you're 3-4 seconds lap faster than some of them, it's
that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to get through. So after that, it was sort of a matter of just do what I could, and managed to catch onto the back of the train when everyone else pitted, which I was quite surprised. I thought I was going to be 6-7 seconds back from them all. But by that stage, I'd sort of just driven everything out of the car. I didn't have a hell of a lot left to throw at it. But No, it was bloody good fun. I mean, we had one stage there, I think there was 7 or 8 cars covered by 2 seconds. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you saw, we had two rows of 3 wide down the main straight. I'm thinking this is not gonna end pretty at all. But yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
that's it. So I was feeling for you, Zach. I was thinking the poor vocal cords are going to be going mental, and the neighbours are going to be banging on the door anytime soon if we keep this up. So I thought I'd back out of it here, and for the greater good of the community.
Yes, there's a reason why the windows are shut at this time of the night. Hey, actually, speaking of this point of the night, can I just highlight again to you, Paul Nichols, we had a comment come in earlier from one Jamie Welch. Just got home, daylight saving sucks. So another person compromised because Queensland sits behind the clock.
Have you spoken about daylight saving tonight?
I have a couple of times, and there's another blast coming up before we finish. Trust me. Fair income. See, this is the thing. If you're in Queensland and your sim racing's getting compromised because of this garbage, get on to your local MP and tell them to grow a spine. Take a stand and tell the North to get stuffed. Right, let's continue on. Chris, good to see you obviously back on the grid. The BMW, how are you finding that this season as opposed to obviously those cars around you, the Ferrari, the Audi? You've pretty much got Merc and McLaren covered, but Ford are in there with a fight as well this time around.
Yeah, I think the big straights around here helped the Ford out. But for pace, we stuck a couple of hours in practice yesterday and managed to find a hell of a lot of pace in this car. So we've got it holding onto tyres, doing everything right. So it is a track that I think probably is a little bit favourable to the Beamer as well. But yeah, we've sort of got the set working. It was a bit funny for Brendan. Something went wrong with loading his set or something or other. I don't know. It was all showing that it was the same setup as what I was on, but everyone was passing him down the straight, whereas I had bugger all wing and bugger all rake, so she was a bit of a rocket ship in a straight line. But and that was always the philosophy coming off last week. So, but no, pace-wise, I had enough pace there to get pole tonight. I just couldn't put the lap together. So it's all sort of coming together, but yeah, we'll see how this setup works on the next track. It's probably going to be totally different again and start from scratch, but yeah, it's the BMW doing BMW things.
Yes, exactly right. And I have to say, we've been waiting for this track all year. It was certainly well worth the wait, and looking forward to hopefully getting back here more next year. Just going back to a couple of things you touched on there. You mentioned the incident with Trent. Well, unfortunately, Trent didn't make it to the finish. That's why he's not in here tonight. He hit the rage quit button about 13 laps from home. When exactly, how early into the race was that incident with Trent there, mate? Because we saw you at the start hanging up there on the outside trying to get past him into turn 1 just before the safety car got thrown. At the same time was Liam Reston getting by Dennis Gaderick as well, we should point out. So what was the run into turn 1 like from your standpoint? Because you could have come out of there about 3rd, you come out there 4th, and then obviously where was the initial contact with Trent that you spoke of earlier?
Yeah, so the start was pretty good. I got a ripper start, timed it really well, but I couldn't do anything with it. The old Fez in front of us, Liam, just, I don't know if he missed the starter, if it didn't quite have the bottom end poke that the Beamer had with a bit of a toe there as well. So I was just trying to do what I could. I was actually clear of Trent coming into the corner, and then yeah, couldn't do anything. And the hanging up on turn 1 was Trent using his racecraft a bit. I just couldn't turn. He was sitting there saying, you bugger. So I called him something else, but that's another story. But yeah, the contact was, I don't know, it was probably 5 or 6 laps in, just before we did the pit stop. He made a bit of a boo-boo somewhere, I can't remember where, but I got through. And then he had a bit of a lob up the inside of turn 1, and I didn't even see him there. So we came together there, and then I think I had more contact with another one of the Beamers on turn 2 or turn 3 or somewhere there as well. So it just crinkled the guard a little bit. I was just losing, not a lot. It was probably only 2 or 3 tenths a lap, but it was just enough that I thought, well, if we can get in the pit, get it fixed, get back out there. I knew I had good pace, but yeah, I just got screwed over a bit by the traffic. But that's what happens when you drop yourself back there.
Can I just say something about that Beamer on that start there? I genuinely thought I missed my own start. That's how much speed that thing had at the end of the straight. It was absolutely just gunning through. I was just, I don't know what they've done to the setup, but it's working.
Exactly right.
Button, mate. Found the nitrous button.
By the way, that name that Chris called Trent, that's for us him to know and us to find out. And my guess is that it probably started with either the third or the sixth letter of the alphabet. Here's this 3 wide replay down the straight here. This was good stuff early as well, because you also had Paul Rogers in there, John Merritt as well. Really good scrap. That was where Trent got hung out to dry, and of course Paul Rogers got up through on the inside. So good racing there in the early stages. It wasn't to be, obviously, for Chris. But here's a couple of other things. You said you had the pace for pole. Nick and I were discussing before the race. Do we like the longer format because it gives you a little bit of extra time to get out there and have a run and deal with the traffic around you, put it pretty much in a race situation or a real-world GT qualifying session situation? Or do you like the shorter, sharper qualifying sessions where you've got the track to yourself? It doesn't make it any easier to get the perfect lap together, but would there be a preference?
For tonight, yeah, just 2 solo laps because I was sitting P1 for a good whack of quality there. But yeah, but no, it's yeah, look, it's still the same as what I said last week. I still think we probably need to split it maybe into 2 independent 20-minute qualifying sessions or something like that for a top half, bottom half, based on practice. It's still a lot of cars on track, and the speed disparity between the front and the rear is pretty significant. And then there's there's the little nudge, but then there's just the usual that unfortunately happens with people coming out of the pits and they're on an out lap with someone on a hot lap, and they spin on their out lap and ruin the hot laps and all that sort of fun stuff. But I mean, everyone has that, that what if and could have been, should have been, all the rest of fun and games from quali. But yeah, look, I mean, 4th, that's the best quality that I've had this season by a long shot.
Yep.
And 12th, which I believe will become 11th after Jeff's penalties applied. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I wanted 10th, but 10th would have been nice, but 4th would have been nice, and 1st would have been nice as well. So pretty happy with 11th.
Hey, Jeff. What's there's definite contact between Lavis and Whitaker there. And as soon as you two were side by side, we knew it was going to be good because we know there's a little nice rivalry developing between you pair. You like to play hard but fair, and again, nice hard play there tonight. Jeff, what penalty does Chris speak of?
Oh, it didn't really matter for me because I'm not racing for points anyway. But just one of the back markers I was passing, he sort of. About 20 minutes to go, I think.
So you put a Michael Hammond on him and just got him out of the road, did you?
No, he's just sort of weaving all over the track and blocking like crazy for about 27th place or something. So dived down the inside and he blocked pretty hard and just clipped him lightly. Like I actually didn't feel it, but definitely clipped him lightly, and he just ran a bit wide. But he didn't lose any other spots or anything like that. And he's about a second a lap slower. So if I redressed, we would have just both slowed each other down even more. So probably should have picked his battle, and then I didn't get the call till there was about a lap and a half to go, and I thought, well, what's it matter? They can just take some points off it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll keep having fun, and did a pretty big dive up the inside of Chris on the last quarter and got it done cleanly. That was good fun, and then just understeered a bit on the exit. We just sort of bumped a bit on the straight line coming onto the straight. There's nothing really in it, so thought I'd just stay on and keep having a bit more fun. So
very good stuff.
Points.
Robbins racing, as they say. But Paul Nichols, this addresses a more concerning issue in the club. There's absolutely no cash up for grabs whatsoever. There's hardly any sheep stations available. But try telling these guys that.
Well, I think, we all love racing, and we're all competitive. We wouldn't do this if we weren't. So I think it's the club's put in some rules, and we've got a penalty system and a new license system being implemented. That's obviously if you have too many penalties during the season, you'll get a 1 week ban. So I think that's going to obviously improve some of the driving standards. We certainly want competitive racing. That's what it's all about. But I think Adam Lavis has put a really good system in place. So let's see how that goes for the rest of the season.
All right. Well, as soon as he joins us in the control room and passes on some updated championship standings, we'll let you know what's going on there. At the moment, no movement as yet, so he might actually not be in a position to update us tonight. So we'll wait and see how all that goes. He's normally in the chat room by now, so I'm assuming that he must have the 4 a.m. start tomorrow morning, and that's why we're not going to be able to update you on championship points tonight. If that's the case, we'll update you first thing Wednesday night when we bring you the GT4 TCR Hump Day Pilot Series and also the Porsche GT3s for Racecraft. Rightio. As much as I've enjoyed talking GT3 with the boys there, I want to talk to Paul Wood, Yanni Sorcerio, and Jackson Rayhana now. Yanni, the step up to pro, mate, and that's as good as we've seen from you so far this season. 6th place there, a circuit that clearly agreed with you.
Yeah, this one does agree with me. It was definitely better than last week. So I seem to get into a habit of 1 week having a first lap incident, 1 week not, the next week having one, and this week not. So hopefully the pattern doesn't continue itself. But yeah, it was a great race. It was a tough race, but it was actually a clean one, and it was really enjoyable. So kudos to all the drivers tonight. It was really, really enjoyable.
Hey, actually, you should get your teammate in here right at this point in time. Parry Anastakis just commenting on Facebook Live. Sheep stations do exist. Come in and have a chat to us, Parry. Let us know how your sheep stations went tonight. Let's dive into the chat with you a little bit more, Yanni. Are you enjoying? Because obviously you were the star of the Pro-Am field in that Pro-Am race that we had at the end of last season. Have you enjoyed the step up into Pro?
Oh, definitely. It's always good to race guys that are quicker than you, yeah? So you always want to try and get better and better yourself. So, yeah, it's been great. Like I said, I haven't had the best of races. 2 out of 4 have been pretty average. But, yeah, I mean, it's what we're all here to do. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to get better. So it's been a good experience. So, yeah, it's been great so far. I'm really enjoying it.
And that's the main thing, mate, as long as you're enjoying it. Thoughts on Zandvoort being the next stop?
I've got to do some practice on that one, that's for sure. I don't think I've even bought that track. So it's going to be an interesting one, but it's all good.
Anyone else here not up to speed with Zandvoort?
Yep.
Paul Wood, I'll come to you in a moment. Paul, anyone else up the top here? Jackson, Dennis, Chris, Paul?
Zandvoort's a bloody good track, mate.
There we go.
There's nothing else to say. Are we doing the one that was just released, like the one with the banking, or is it the old school one?
Good question. Yeah, I'm not sure, mate. We'll find
Depends
out.
what iRacing have got. If they've upgraded the banking or not, we'll wait and see.
Pretty sure it's old Zandvoort because I haven't seen it.
Oh, no, never mind. I'm thinking about Formula 2020. Never mind. Yeah. You're all right. No, you're all right. I'm thinking about the totally wrong game. No, you're actually Sim. Sorry,
it's not a game, man. It's not a game.
It's not a game.
It's not a game. This is real life. Didn't you know that? All right. On that note, Yanni, thank you. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts again next week, mate. And of course, you were involved in a cracking scrap there with so many drivers throughout the course of the night, and it all seemed to be relatively clean and relatively fair, and that was the main thing. Good haul of points going forward. Let's go to Paul Wood now, because Jeff Connell mentioned this he's jumped out of the chat room, so we'll catch up with Jeff next time. He mentioned at the start that he couldn't get through because the track was blocked. We didn't actually see the track blockage on lap 1. If our director downstairs might be able to bring up the start again and see if there is a track blockage there for us. Okay, I'm just hearing we won't be able to do that. That's okay. But Paul, since we've got you here, you were one of the cars caught up in that lap 1 kerfuffle. There were 2 separate incidents. You were in one of them. What was your take on it?
I'm not really sure what happened with the first one. All I saw was smoke and cars going everywhere. So I just had visions of Days of Thunder. Just put your foot down, keep driving. But no, I made it through okay. I just, on turn 2, I just took too much curb and unsettled the car, and it just went not enough. And yeah, it just decided to do a loop on me. So yeah, I think in the back of my mind, I just knew 26 wasn't a big enough feat for me. So I thought, oh, let's drop back to last, and we'll go from there.
Just the fact that we did have a car in the wall, and even though we didn't see it, we did have that track blockage. That will explain why the safety car was deployed, because when we only saw Paul's spin and a car kiss the wall, well, slam into the wall, but resume off circuit, we wondered why the safety car was called. The fact that the track was blocked behind that we didn't see, that would explain that. Rightio. And on that note, David Johnson in the Pro-Am split right now. Nice job keeping it clean on lap 1, boys. So thumbs up to the Pro-Ams and thumbs down to the Pro. Anyway, Paul, 4 rounds down tonight. Probably not the best result, but you managed to salvage 17th in all of that. Thoughts on the result, and obviously Zandvoort being next?
I think overall okay, considering I basically started from last again. But it's going to be interesting next week, Zandvoort. Very Well, actually, no, it's a pretty similar track to tonight. Did a lot of tight corners, but we'll see how we go. I raced there, but I don't always get the best results. But we'll see how we go. I'll try and get some practice in during the week, and hopefully we can start moving forward a little bit. I'm slowly getting the Ferrari under control, so it's taken a couple of weeks, but we're getting there.
Indeed, and as we heard Brenton Hobson talking about when we spoke to him on Friday night, just going from the Merc to the Ferrari and chopping and changing, it does take a little bit of time to get your head around that change, even though there are a lot of guys in the club, and Dennis is showing that nicely at the moment, going from Ferrari to Audi. He can just go from one to the other and hit the gas, hit the floor running. There are subtle differences between each cars that are catching out a few different drivers at this point in time. Paul, thanks for stopping by to have a chat to us. Let's go to Jackson Rayhana. Mate, what can we say about that magnificent race at the top of the night and intro to wings? You, Michael Hammond and Troy Cox. That was, if there's a cleaner race and a more entertaining race, a three-way fight for first that we see all season, they'll be doing very well to top what you guys put on tonight. That was just phenomenal stuff. So congratulations on that. Good evening to you. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be in the GTs, however. Just having looked down the order here, the 57, not the best night at the office, down in 19th. What happened?
Good evening, Zach. Yeah, look, we qualifying a little bit better than last week. Still not quite where I want to be with the Ferrari. It's still probably getting used to it a little bit. Yeah, no, look, got a good start. Got up some positions as per usual, as I like to do on my starts, and had a really weird lose coming out of turn 4, coming into turn 5, so into the stadium section. It was a lose I've never had before. Well, in any car, but yeah, it was a really weird one in the Ferrari. Just got the death wiggle, as I like to call it. Snapped one way, and then it snapped back the other, and then sort of snapped again, and she was gone. Around she went. So car was damaged after that for the first part of the stint, and found it really hard to recover from there. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, but on to next week, Zandvoort. I'm really excited for that one because I like this track, but Zandvoort's one of my favourites.
Yeah, indeed. I don't mind the old trip to the Netherlands either, I must admit. Looking forward to next week. I mean, to be perfectly fair, it'll do well to top what we saw tonight because that was top shelf stuff. I'll come back to you in a moment about intro to wings, mate, because that is well worth having another look at. Just repeating here tonight, folks, the final results in this race. It was Dennis Gaderick from, it was Liam Reston from Dennis Gaderick from Richard Hunter, then Paul Mansell and Paul Rogers. I'm so used to Dennis being first. He was just, I didn't scroll all the way back to the top of the scrolling leaderboard on iRacing. Phenomenal stuff, really good entertainment, and there are the results on your screen for those of you playing along at home. Paul Mansell, Paul Rogers, Yanni Sorteria, Guy Leach, Richard Mitchum, John Merritt, and Maverick Benson, the top 10. So a good range of different manufacturers in the top 10 at the moment. 4 rounds down, 6 rounds to go. What are the aspirations going forward, Chris Whitaker? I'll start with you.
Yeah, we'll just get set up for next week and get a bit. Oops, that was me. Get set up for next week, and that's it. We get a bit of practice in, and see if this setup translates to the next track, and go from there, mate. But that's about it in my book. Aside from that's right. I just remembered. I was trying to remind myself all day that I need to mention what's going on next weekend for you, Zach. So we'll sit down and we'll watch Bathurst. Definitely. I'll be watching all 3 days of that, and I'll be thinking of you.
It's 4 days, you idiot. But anyway, that's okay.
Close enough.
I will get together with you at some point. That'll be hopefully this time next week when we reconvene and catch up again. All right, we'll leave Chris on that note. Let's go to Dennis. Mate, 3 wins, a second so far. Obviously looking to continue that streak. Zandvoort, the next stop. Some really good tracks to get to after that, including Alton Park, Donington Park, and of course the championship finishes where Chris just mentioned. But the less said about that this week, the better. Your thoughts on all of that? And is this championship in your? Have you got one hand on this cup already, or are you not willing to sell yourself? Like, are you not willing to put the hand on it at the moment after what happened tonight?
No, I'm not that type of guy. I do like to sort of just do the practice and do the best I can. I don't look at the other people too much. It's just more myself. So when I practice, it's just I try to beat the last lap that I do. So, I'll do my absolute best the next race. Zandvoort is it's one of my favourite tracks essentially on iRacing, so I do genuinely enjoy it. I haven't done it in a long time, but so it'll be nice to finally have a reason to do it. But yeah, no, I'll be putting in the practice, that's for sure, and especially if obviously if Liam's going to be back next race, going to definitely need to do that and just maybe peg one up on him next race.
Indeed. Now, on that note, let's go to Jackson Rayhana. Mate, I want to talk firstly about what's ahead in terms of the championship, but let's go back and explore that race earlier in the evening at the start of the program. You, Troy Cox at the end, squeezing up on the inside of Michael Hammond. Everything was clean. Everything was beautiful. From your standpoint, pole to victory, well done. 3/10 on Mikey in qualifying. I mean, he got you at the start, but when you can beat Michael Hammond fair and square at your own game, at his own game as well, I mean, talk about versatility, you know you're doing something right. That was probably a hallmark moment in your iRacing career, I'd imagine, getting one up over the teammate.
Oh, look, absolutely. And Mikey's, obviously, being teammates, it's cool that we're able to have that trust together and, run the last 2 laps. Like we banged wheels a few times even. I'm not sure if you guys picked it up, but I was getting contact, and that's where, that's sort of where you realise, all right, this is serious now. Where teammates are out the window. This is for sheep stations. And Troy, I guess, was the fly in the ointment. We were hoping that we'd be able to run away and kind of make it our own little fight, like it was last week. But Troy was definitely the the wild card there, and he put up a really, really good fight.
Indeed, he did, and that's the thing. We knew that if one of you had any success in breaking the toe, breaking the slipstream for the cars behind you, it was going to be game over. But you weren't given the opportunity to do that. 20 minutes, not long enough, and Mikey, of course, probably got close to being lost in your tail there at one point at the midway mark. But again, just that superiority through the midsection of the circuit. He clawed back enough to then get the toe down the main straight, the toe down the back straight. And, the rest is history. But 3 of you separated by very little at the end. It was a cracking race. In fact, just recapping the results for anyone that might be just joining us, and go back and have a look at the replay once we're done. 1.1 seconds separated first, second, and third in that race. 0.2 between first and second, but it was a lot closer than that for so long throughout that 20 minutes. Short, sharp format, but by gee, it's been entertaining so far.
Absolutely, and yeah, this is the shortest type of racing I do on iRacing, so you've got very little time. I usually actually forget. I'm like, you look at the time, and all of a sudden you got 5 minutes to go, and usually in any other old race with 10 minutes to go, the gloves are off and you're throwing punches. But the time sort of creeps up on you a little bit quicker than it would in any other category, and I like that. I like the type of car. I like the fact that it's a sprint race, because open wheelers are they're meant to be sprint racing format. So I think the format's pretty much bang on there. But it definitely encourages aggressive, smart racing. But more so aggressive, because if you're going to do anything, if you're going to make moves, you haven't got very long to do it.
Indeed. At this point in time, Nick's not been in the broadcast room for the last half hour, but he's just sent me a message and said he's got an early start, so he won't be with us for the rest of the night, but we appreciate his insight as per usual. Let's just, at this point in time, run you back through the championship points, because Adam Lavis has sent the okay through to me that they are good to be read out. And he's just left the server, unfortunately. But Dennis Gaderick still leading this thing by 46 points. It's an extraordinary lead this early in the season, 4 rounds gone. If he can keep putting points between himself and the rest of the competition, he could well wrap it up before the final round, even though that final round is double points. So, I mean, yeah, it's just an incredible state of numbers that he's racking up at the moment. 134 plays. Paul Mansell on 88, 82 for John Merritt, Emmerich Candela on 70. There was no Emmerich Candela on the grid tonight. He's probably another one doing it tough with the time difference at the moment. Guy Leach, 67. Glenn Postlethwaite, 66. 63 for Luke Turner and 58 for Trent Lavis. Then I'm going to take you back through 15th. 6 Ferraris, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maverick Benson on 55. Yanni's on 51. Liam Reston with that win tonight, 48. He's, of course, bouncing back after not competing in the first 2 weeks. So let's see what he can do over the next 6. And then the drop round system comes into play, and it could get very interesting after that. Then Michael Angus on 48, 45 for Pariana Starkus, 45 for Richard Mitchum, and 44.5 for Kyle Crowther. How good's that? Good racing as per usual. So much to look forward to as far as the rest of the week is concerned. Paul Nichols, I can't give you driver of the night because you weren't in the broadcast feed, but we can give you an honourable mention for that win in Pro-Am. That's a nice little confidence booster. You've just got to come and win a broadcast race now.
Well, I think we're actually going to broadcast the second split from a few races during the season, so we're going to confirm that. We've got a meeting tomorrow night, so we might do a couple of second split broadcasts just to give the guys in the not in the limelight a bit of limelight.
So is that going to be a case of it'll be a 3-leg broadcast on a Monday night? Pro-Am will lead into Pro. Is that what you?
No, I think we'll just the pro guys might have a non-broadcast race, and the Pro-Am guys might have a broadcast race. So we'll work that out during the week. Yeah. Okay,
just for something different.
Yep.
It's a shame it wasn't tonight for your sake, but then again, the Pro split did deliver in spades tonight, so it was really good to watch. Now, what's coming up as far as sim racing is concerned? Jackson, your attention obviously turns to Wednesday night.
Absolutely. The Porkers, looking to build on last week. We had a good run through the field, as per usual. Just need to fix that qualifying form up and try and tune her up, and we'll be good to go. I'm smelling a 1-2 for me and Mikey, hopefully.
Yes.
Either way in the Porsche, and that'll be big. That'll be very special if we can pull one of those off. So, yeah, hopefully we can edge towards that and maybe get one before the end of the season.
And Road Atlanta is a great course for all that to happen. So looking forward to it immensely. As Nick's no longer with us, I might have to do driver of the night myself. Hard to go past Jackson Rayhana and Liam Reston. As much as I've loved Dennis's progress throughout the course of the year, we said tonight if he won, he'd probably be too far in front. I mean, still the lead's 46 points. They didn't claw much back tonight because Liam's obviously still catching up after missing the first 2 rounds of the season. So Gaderick still extended his lead at the top, if you can believe that. So maybe it's a case closed. I know Dennis doesn't want to call it that way, but Liam Reston, take a bow. That was phenomenal to watch. Ferrari on Audi, and the Audi boy, who was the Ferrari boy, getting beaten by the manufacturer that he swapped from to go to Audi. So that there were so many different storylines playing out there, and props to all 3, Rayhana, Hammond, and Cox in that opening race, because by gee, I nearly didn't have a voice left for the GT3 race. That was just top shelf racing. And more so, I mean, you expect that from Rayhana and Hammond, but for Cox to be able to stay in the tail and stay with them and just wait for his moment and pounce on Hammond on the last lap and do it cleanly, and Hammond not force the issue. Really good stuff there. So Troy Cox, a special honourable mention there. Chris, your next sim outing with us will be next Monday night, I believe.
Yeah, that's the plan, mate.
All right, look forward to it. Fantastic. Final thoughts on all of that, Paul Nichols. I know you didn't see much of the racing, but by gee, this circuit, we waited for it. It was worth the bloody wait. It threw up 2 cracking races, and I can't wait for the next trip here in a couple of weeks for TCR GT4 and also Porsche GT3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favourites. Obviously, having a win, it's definitely one of my favourites.
Oh, of course.
I'm looking at the pro split at the moment, the results. Richard Mitchum started P8. Started P9, finished P8, and 0 incident points. So, honourable mention to Richard. Well done.
Indeed. All right, let's wrap it up because we're just about out of time here. We're 10:04, so we're already outside that 2.5-hour broadcast window, but I hope you've enjoyed it all the same, folks. Been a great night of racing and a massive week of sim racing still to come. Actually, hold up. I'm going to give Paul Nichols a minute here. Club Enduro was held on Saturday, a charity one, 6 hours, the Lamar Radicals. How'd that all go as far as the club was concerned, mate?
Yeah, fantastic. Really good chat. I mean, the charity racing, the enduro racing is all about charity. So I don't actually have the results in front of me, but I believe Brenton Hobson's team won. So SSR.
Tickle me surprise.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, surprising. But yeah, everyone enjoyed it. Really good feedback. And I think the next one is on the 24th of November from memory. That's off the top of my head. But yeah, I think we're GTEs. I think it's Spa from memory.
21st is the Monday. Oh, sorry, it's the Saturday there in November,
There
so
you
it
go.
might be
Yeah,
the
that'll be
21st. Yeah.
Could be the
If not
14th,
the
but yeah,
28th. Yeah. We'll confirm that in due course. Good on you, mate. Thank you. Thanks to Chris Whitaker for jumping in to have a chat after the race there. Thanks to Jackson Rayhana as well, and to Nick for his help in commentary throughout the course of the night. Thanks to you as home as well. As we look ahead as far as the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned, Adam Lavis and I will be with you on Wednesday night. Of course, GT4 TCR into Porsche GT3, of course, for Racecraft. That is Wednesday night motorsport over on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Incorporated broadcast page, and everything else as well. So looking forward to that. It'll be on his Twitch page. And then on Friday night, we're back on SimShed Broadcasting for JP and the gang here. That will be Wednesday night's Road Atlanta. Friday night, Phillip Island. Really looking forward to that. Production cars, stock cars, supercars, the triple treat on Friday night, the launch pad of a double week of Australian circuits on Friday night, because in week 5, the stock cars go to Bathurst while the other two categories go to Daytona, and that's where we start having 2 different tracks pop up on a Friday night. So looking forward to that. The mix and match, which will be Friday night motorsport from next week, and of course the final triple header on the island this Friday night. Next Monday night, I've already mentioned it, back to Europe, back to a track that has hosted famous GT3 races and Formula One races in the past. It is the Circuit Park Zandvoort. We're going to the Netherlands for the first time. We've ticked off Brazil. Why not the Netherlands? Mid-Arch will be screaming for it next Monday night. 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Intro to Wings into GT3s. Looking forward to that midway mark of the championship, round 5 next week. 5 down, 5 to go. Really good stuff. Dennis Gaderick, the man to beat at the moment. He was beaten tonight, only just. Liam Reston getting the job done in a thriller at the Interlagos circuit in Brazil, and Jackson Rayhana in an Intro to Wings classic that won't soon be forgotten. That's Monday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, for Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gaindale, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Stone Cold Racing, Oculair, and Simple Sim Computers on SimShed Broadcasting. Hope you've enjoyed our broadcast as per usual. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll look forward to your company when we do it all again on Wednesday night when we head to Road Atlanta. Interlagos has delivered in spades, as we suspected it would. From all of us here, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great night, everybody. Bye for now.